races in Velocity Motorsports this season. A lot of guys from last season as well, including our champion, Christopher Murphy. Shad, who are you going to be watching tonight, and who do you think is going to come away with the kickstart into Season 2 with a Daytona win?
Well, Kurt, good to be back for season 2 of this Velocity League. When it comes to Daytona, it's anybody's ball game. Just like in real life, we've seen Michael McDowell, Reagan all win races at Daytona. Daytona's the great equalizer. Doesn't take much talent to go around here. Pretty much just who can hold a steady wheel, keep a good line, and can make it through the chaos. So, to pick a win. So I think Kurt, the winner tonight is it could possibly come from that stable of filter time drivers, which includes um our past season champion in the 7 car of Christopher Murphy. You muted Kurt.
Yeah, Shad, I was trying to figure out the volume situation. I wasn't able to hear you, but then all of a sudden it kicked in about halfway through there. But I can definitely agree with you. The filter time guys are going to be a hard one to match tonight. They've got 4 drivers in that stable. 3 were here last season and ran away with it by over 32 seconds, almost a full lap on the field. They completely separated themselves by their pit stops, their strategies, their race calling, all led by their captain, Tyler Dohar. But Chris Murphy in that bright neon green, lime green, whatever color you want to call it. You designed the paint scheme for him. It looks magnificent on track, but he's our returning champion, going to be going for a two-peat in the championship battle this season. He's a driver I think could definitely kick off some more wins. He only had 1 last season. Made it to the Final Four and all Final Four filter time championship battle it out, and he came away with the championship without winning the race as well. But there's a lot of drivers that are not drivers returning from last season. We've got a bunch of newcomers that are riddled all through this lineup. Jess Childs is one that I've been hearing a lot about, as she is a very, very skilled driver. So we'll see if she can get into this field and mix it up with these guys. Returning drivers of multiple different teams, Jason Blaney being one of them. Shad, we watched him finally get a win right before the playoffs started, and he's got some teammates this season, unlike last season where he didn't have a whole lot of teammates that were up front battling him. Wesley Jeanette making his return after winning the Charlotte Roval last season, and then raced a couple races during the playoffs. But this season, I guess he's going to be here for the full card. We've got 17 races on the season. Tonight is race number 1. I don't know what the drivers are feeling in that seat. You, as a driver, Shad, you race around all kinds of different leagues, a lot of different styles of driving. With it being the open race of the season, does it really get you butterflies or nerves or anything like that, anticipation of just getting out on the track and racing finally in a real race situation rather than like last night's dual race or the practices or the recruiting races that Velocity did? Does it really get to you as a driver?
Yeah, I think these guys are pretty excited to kick this season off. They know that this season's going to be longer than what it was last season. So yeah, I think a lot of these guys are looking forward to kicking this off. We see a lot of familiar faces from last season, but a lot of new guys. Some familiar faces for me and you, but new guys to Velocity joining this season. So I think from a driver's perspective, they're looking forward to getting this going. And those butterflies, I don't think will kick in unless you're maybe that leader coming down to like one or two to go. Then you might start getting those butterflies of winning the opening race and, starting off the season better than anybody else and winning the first race of the season, obviously. So, yeah, as a driver's standpoint, I'm just sitting here ready to go, waiting for qualifying to kick off and then waiting for that green flag to drop.
Well, Shad, one driver new that is coming in this season for the next gen is going to be in that historical number 3. That is Nick Gowan. I myself have watched Nick in AER. He's pulled off, I think, 4 or 5 wins in the Truck Series. I think he got 6 wins in the ARCA Series and just wrapped up his second championship in the ARCA Series in AER. He also races in multiple other series as well, or leagues. He's a driver I think is going to be contending a lot of the weeks. He's kind of a go for it, no lift. Wins a lot, but could be involved in some incidents as well because he makes moves that guys just don't anticipate. It's almost like being on another level. You yourself can probably, attest to that when you're surrounded with guys who may not be on the same skill level as you, or in your mind may not be on the same skill level, you make a move and the other guy's not anticipating it, it can cause big wrecks in the field. And with possibly 30 drivers, 35 drivers, I think is what's on the roster. I don't know how many we'll have tonight, but with that many cars on track, the slightest move when somebody's not anticipating something on a super speedway track where you've got to be on the steering wheel and a split-second decision is too late.
Yeah, I think that's what the new drivers are going to have to figure out. The guys returning from last season, they pretty much know how, they all drive. They know the moves they can make with one another and who can hold a straight line and, who's going to maybe give up a spot because they know you're faster. Guys like, Gowan and Mike Campbell the third, these guys are going to have to learn quickly who they can race around, who they can make those aggressive moves, and who does make the aggressive moves. So, like you said, Gowan, he's a very talented driver when it comes to the ARCA cars or the trucks. I haven't raced with him, I don't think, in the next gen series, so I'm not quite sure how comfortable he is with these next gen cars. But he is a guy that is known to be pretty aggressive. If he gets, sent to the back of the pack, he tends to try to hurry up and get back to the front. So he's going to have to maybe try to wrangle in some of that aggression because these guys are pretty fast in this league. And just realize that tires, just like last season, Kurt, I'm already bringing it up, tires are very important. Maybe not at Daytona, but when we go to some of these other trickier tracks, he's going to have to learn that patience is going to be key instead of just running through the field.
Yeah, Shad, I mean, you did bring up the schedule. I'll bring it up on screen right now. Daytona is the opening season 1 race, race 1. Next week, we'll head to Texas, the track, Shad, you are very, very good at. Both of us have been to that track for real races. We've both actually driven real NASCAR cars on track as well, or at least been in the cars to feel how the car feels in those corners. But we head off to the first road course, Road America, one of my kind of favorite road courses next to Watkins Glen. Not a big fan of the other ones. Maybe just because I haven't driven them enough to know exactly when to make those turns, especially Sonoma where I can't see anything. But Dover, concrete. It's usually a fast, clean track. Got to be really worried about the second line because it usually doesn't come in very well. Nashville Super Speedway, a track that I think that you like, Shad, because you've been very fast there. Rockingham making its return. We're putting it on the schedule here. It'll be, 5-6 races in. Michigan, another track, Shad, that you've won at in the trucks and been very fast at as well. Darlington, that kind of single line track, but you've got some movement in some places to make passes coming off the corners and things like that. Talladega, another super speedway, will come back to 3-4 wide racing there, full speed ahead. Right into the smallest track we'll have, Bristol, for 160 laps of running around that track. I personally went to that race last year in the playoffs, and it's there's nothing like it. So Las Vegas, another great track to round out the regular season, Shad, and that's when we'll head into that all-important playoff schedule of round 1. We'll have 3 races. Indianapolis road course as race 1, Shad. That's a difficult road course. And then to have a road course in the playoffs as well. Richmond, a short track again. Bump draft, bump and runs will be key in that one. Kentucky, a very good D-shaped track. Going into the playoff round number 2, we'll have New Hampshire. Its first time on the schedule. Was not on the schedule last year. Then we'll go to Charlotte, which is normally your track you see for really good racing. 2-3 wide racing in the corners. Fast speed draft. All kinds of stuff happening at Charlotte. And then an oddball. A championship race at Iowa, Shad. Not something either one of us talking earlier were really expecting to see Iowa on the schedule as the championship race. But it could provide some really good racing for a championship, not a usual championship track that we usually see. So a lot of these guys will have to throw in an extra practice or extra time on track to figure out different strategies if they want to come away with that championship, if they are part of that championship 4. But Shad, once we start the playoffs, it is not just about the championship. It is about those payout spots. We don't have an exact official how many payout spots there will be. Last season, I believe there was 12. I don't know if there'll be 12 this year or how they're going to be doing it, how they got it structured. I don't have that information yet. But Shad, this schedule is very, very good, but very difficult in a lot of different sections. I don't know how you break down this schedule, which tracks you'd be paying attention to the most as if you were driving them. But I'm looking at some really hard tracks mixed in here.
Yeah, I think the schedule kind of gives a pretty equal balance of skill tracks and kind of those cookie cutters. But when we go to places like Texas, the new Texas, completely different than what it used to be. What it used to be was really easy, high banked on both ends, and now NASCAR changed it and made it wide, kind of flat through 1 and 2. Left 3 and 4 the same, but so now you got to try to learn how to drive the track, and it's 2 different ends. So that's gonna, I think, be a kind of right off the bat. We're gonna figure out the guys of who can run the skill tracks, save the tires, because Texas is gonna be key for that as well. And then going to a place like Darlington, known for chewing up tires, known for you got to ride close to the wall. And it's very tricky on exit of the turns. These cars get extremely loose coming out of 2 and coming out of 4. But yeah, then we got 2 road courses this season, Kurt. Last season we only had 1, and Wesley Jeanette was the winner of that race. So is Wesley Jeanette kind of looking at those 2 road course races as one during the regular season, kind of getting a win right off the bat, and then 2, one in the opening round of the playoffs, maybe being able to get himself locked into the second round by winning a race in the first round. So, I think these drivers are going to be put to the test with this schedule, and it won't take us long to figure out who are the guys that are good at restrictor plates and good at saving tires, and then good at road courses. So it's a nice mix up, especially right here, beginning of the season, with 3 different tracks right off the bat. So definitely looking forward to it. I think the admins did a great job of picking the schedule, except for that championship race. I'm not a big fan of Iowa. I would have preferred just going back to Phoenix or maybe somewhere else. But hey, that's what they chose, and I'm sure we'll have a great race no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Charlotte as a championship. We've seen Miami Homestead as a championship. Now we've got Phoenix and real NASCAR. Things like that. Those kind of tracks are the ones I traditionally see. I would have liked to see maybe Texas as a championship race, Sean. I think Texas provides a lot of good racing, different sides of the track for different drivers, skill-based wise, 2 different ends. Those style tracks are what I was kind of looking for. Iowa, like I said, it's a huge shocker to me as well. I think it'll be very entertaining when we get there to see who can, conquer that track and come away with a championship. It's an oddball, but I mean, I kind of like the idea of throwing an oddball track out there, but I don't know what it'll be like. I'm glad it's not a road course as a championship. That would have been really surprising, but something like Iowa, Phoenix, Texas, Charlotte, Homestead, even Kentucky or Nashville Speedway or Super Speedway, one of those would have been kind of cool. But Iowa is definitely going to be a fun one to watch to see who can come away with it. It's a challenging track for a lot of different drivers. But Shad, we've got about 13 minutes left before we actually grid up here. Why don't we try to find the championship driver, Chris Murphy, and bring him up here real quick and get a kind of rundown on how he's looking at this season, how he feels about getting that giant 3-foot trophy that he took a picture of and posted a couple weeks ago with his kids next to his rig. It's got to be really, satisfying to clinch that season, get the first overall season of Velocity Motorsports under his belt, and come away with the championship.
Yeah, let me get him pulled up.
Chris, we're here talking to the fans out there watching, and we're bringing you up because obviously you are driver number one on our list for being last season's inaugural season 1 champion. You come away with that championship after battling your other 3 teammates. You didn't win the race at Phoenix. You came away a close second, but we're starting season 2 at one of the bigger tracks, super speedway track. You got that bright neon green car just shining all the way around this track. How are you looking at tonight's Daytona race as a kickstart to the season? Is it something you're really, putting your finger on as I got to be good here to start the season? Or as in most cases, does Daytona really matter?
Yeah, I'm not very good at plate tracks. I never have really great luck. Last season, my teammates and I kind of just ran away from the pack, which really helped. Obviously, a great like finish here would be amazing to help the season, but I also know it's a wild card. And I mean, John made the playoffs, and he actually finished second last season in the points, and he missed the first race completely. So, while yes, it's a great way to start the season, it's not an end-all, be-all kind of thing. I'm just looking to try to avoid all the wrecks and just try to be there at the end.
Well, Chris, as Kurt stated, you posted a picture of you and your kids with that giant 3-foot trophy of yours. Were you expecting to get that in the mail? Were you expecting that trophy to be that size?
I was not. So I had a trophy shelf I made, and it is way too small. I actually have it sitting on my computer desk, and it's towering over my monitor right now as we speak. So it's kind of just like glimmering there behind my view here. So it's just there to remind me, like just be consistent and avoid the mistakes on pit road like I was doing, and anything's possible.
Well, I wasn't going to bring that fact up, Chris, but going to the trophy part of it, at least if it's towering over your monitor, that you're looking at right now to drive, it gives you something to, set your eyes on as a goal to repeat as champion. So I don't think it is a bad thing being in your view while you're driving, as long as it's not, blocking your view or anything. But going back to those mistakes you were talking about, you were able to come away with a championship, even though you had multiple races where you made that little mistake on pit road. Is that a key thing that you've been kind of working on or anything, or testing, or working on pit road stops and things like that, trying to figure it out? Or are you just letting it roll off you and give it all you can get every single time?
My favorite racer on the big circuit is Denny Hamlin, and he's really aggressive on pit lane, and he's probably one of the most penalized drivers on pit road. And I got to be just like him. I try to get everything I can on pit road. It's a great way to make up seconds sometimes. And if it starts becoming a problem like it did last season, I might back it down a little bit. But it's a new season, new slate, so I'm gonna try to give it all I can.
Well, the good thing here, Chris, is being too slow getting to the line doesn't hurt you as bad as at Daytona, but speeding definitely does. So I hope you definitely found your mark of where you can push it to and not get that speeding penalty.
Yeah, I haven't practiced yet. I should probably do that here coming coming to green.
You might want to make a green flag stop here during practice just to get your bearings as you're going down, as I see you peel off right there. But yeah, sim racing apps. Yeah. Did you get the pit road penalty already in practice? Sim racing apps, that's a big thing to throw on there. It gives you that alert and tells you when to slow down and when you're too fast and things like that. So if you don't have it, definitely go get sim racing apps at some point to put up all those widgets on your screen while you're driving.
Yeah, I should definitely do that. As you can see, you can't get a pit road speeding penalty if you don't hit pit road, which I clearly blew. So I'll definitely have some work to do.
All right. Well, Chris, Shad will send you back down to your teammates. Good luck in tonight's race, and we'll look forward to you getting a kickstart on this season 2 chase for that second championship.
All right, thanks so much.
All right, Chad, we'll come back and find another driver here. I want to try to find one of the newcomers, just to see how their mindset is going into this season two, not being familiar with a lot of drivers. I don't know if you can search through the list on Discord and see if you can find any of the new drivers, whether it be Jessica Childs, Ryan Horvath, Mike Campbell, Rodney Ayers. There's a couple of them listed in there.
Yeah, I can get a few of them. Which one you want?
Just pick one. Pick any driver you want.
We'll go with the only female
Okay.
in the league. How about that?
Hey, Jessica, this is Swats and Shadowlack up in the booth trying to get a little bearing on how you are looking at tonight's race. With it being the opening for season two and you being a newcomer or rookie or whatever you want to call it into this Velocity Motorsports League.
Jessica, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Oh, there she is.
All right, Jessica, we're this is Swats and Shadowlack in the booth tonight for Velocity Motorsports. You are a newcomer into this league, rookie. Maybe you got the yellow bumper, but we're trying to figure out how you're, looking at tonight's race as the season opener. Are you going into with I need to try to make it to the end? Are you trying to go, full tilt, show them what you got for skill? I've heard a lot of different things about you as far as skill level and coming into the season to be a driver to watch. So is that any of the strategies there? Is that something you're kind of paying attention to, or are you just kind of going one lap at a time?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about tonight, actually. This is one of my favorite tracks. I've had a few P1s here, and the guys are all encouraging, great to run with. So we'll see how it goes.
So just earlier in the Discord for the league, I seen that there were some people looking for an extra teammate, and you jumped all over that. How are you, I guess, getting acquainted with your new teammates and, getting a strategy together of racing at Daytona where, you got to have friends to get to the front?
Yeah, I just kind of jumped right in with David and Bill and was kind of talking to them a little bit about, how long I've been doing this. And, I think that we have a really good team together. So I'm a big team player. So hopefully we get up to the front.
Oh, I don't, Kurt, are you muted?
Yeah.
Are you still there?
Yeah, new mic, so I got a mute button in the weird spot. But yeah, I was trying to figure out your accent because I'm seeing you're from the Midwest, but it's sounding more like a New England accent, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm from Iowa, a little small town in Iowa. So we have nothing else to do, so you might as well do some iRacing.
Well, you should be happy about the championship race then this season on the schedule as being Iowa.
Yes, I am. That's one of my favorite tracks too. So we'll see how it goes.
Shad, we could have a heavy hitter coming into the playoffs if her favorite track is Iowa. You and I both were a little shocked to see that as the championship race, but sounds like somebody's really happy about it.
Yeah, I for sure am. So I'm feeling pretty good about tonight. We'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, you good luck at Daytona tonight and the season opener, and we'll see how your season starts out.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Yep. All right, Chad, send her back to her teammates, and we'll try to find somebody else to talk to before we go into some pre-race stuff coming up and go into the grading and qualifying and things like that. But once you get her down, just search around, find another driver, whoever you want, whether it's a newcomer, old driver, veteran, rookie, whatever it is, and just pull them on up here, and we'll talk to them.
Why don't we bring up one of the admins?
All right. Tyler, this is Swats and Shad up in the booth. We got you coming up and talking to us here as we get ready for season 2 opener at Daytona. Your 88 was one of the drivers we were looking at being in the Final Four. You'd barely missed out. Coming to season 2, we're back at Daytona. It's a night race. How are you looking at tonight's race?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm excited about it. We got a pretty big field, some new faces that will be interesting to see how they work out throughout the season. And, I'm just excited. It's my second season in this car. I feel a lot more comfortable going into this season than I did last season. I got a new teammate in Nick Goen who came over and decided to race with us. I'm excited to work with him. And yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it. Anything can happen tonight. Could finish dead last for all I know. But regardless of how it finishes, this is like a clash race to me. I don't even care what happens in points because anybody can go out there and win this race essentially. So we'll see what happens. Be more excited for the next couple weeks coming up. And but I'm really excited about just doing this stage racing and whatnot. We're gonna have a stage break at lap 30 where yellow will be thrown for stage points, and then it'll be 50 laps green the rest of the way. And can't wait to see how everybody strategizes with that and tries different things and whatnot.
Yeah, so speaking of that, me and Kurt were kind of trying to get the breakdown to let everyone know who's watching. So last season you guys did a top 12 payout. What is it going to be for this season?
It's going to be the same. It's going to be top 12 payout. The difference this season with the playoff format is we have 11 regular season races and 6 playoff races. 3 races in the first round. So we'll go from 12 drivers to 8 drivers after the first 3 races. And then 2 races in the second round. That'll bring us down to 4 drivers for the championship 4. So a lot more opportunity in the playoffs to be able to lose or gain points. The other thing we're doing differently is your regular season bonus points that you accumulate for where you finished in the regular season, like first place gets 15 playoff points and second place gets 12th and so on. Those transfer over into the second round. We didn't do that last season because, single race elimination, that would essentially set the final 4 after the first race. So we didn't want to do that. But this season, that's going to matter. So people who might not show up for 4 races and squeeze into the playoffs, if they're finishing 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, they're not going to get as many bonus points, and that's really going to hurt them. So it kind of rewards consistent drivers and gives them a better shot, which I always feel is a little more fair than somebody who might not have raced half the season but got a bunch of wins or whatever and skates through the playoffs. So those are the 2 big different things right there.
And then also with the whole stage thing, are you guys doing anything where you win the stage, you carry that as a bonus point for playoffs?
Yes, we're doing it just like it would be for real NASCAR. You win the stage, that's a bonus point right there. It freezes the field when we throw the yellow. Being that it's a sim and whatnot, if the yellow is not thrown right when the 10th place car passes, it might shake up the lineup as far like tonight. Perfect example, pack race. And when I throw the yellow, who is actually in 10th when I throw the yellow might not be who is supposed to be in 10th when the yellow is actually thrown, or when the cars are so close, you might see that you're 12th and come to find out you were actually in 10th. So that's going to be reviewed after the race for every race. It's going to be more of a pain in the butt for plate tracks versus short tracks or mile and a halves. But yeah, if you might restart 11th and then come to find out you actually did have a playoff point because maybe I threw it a second too late or a second too early kind of thing. So I'll go back, and when the 10th place car crosses the line, that's how I'm gonna reward the points upon replay after the race. So
All right, Tyler. Well, we're getting ready to go into qualifying. I know you've got a new teammate. Couldn't have picked a better one there. Hope you and him kind of learn from each other and talk to each other. And Nick's definitely forthcoming with a lot of information and his teammates in AER. So I think it'll definitely be a benefit for you to grab him and put him on your team for sure. So we'll see how that helps both of you going into this upcoming season of 17 races. But we're getting ready to kick off the first race of Daytona. So we'll send you back down to your teammate and get ready to go for some fireworks here at Daytona.
sounds good, man. Best of luck to you boys up in the booth, and can't wait to hopefully talk to you after the race.
Yep, we'll be seeing you. All right, Chad, send him back down. We've got qualifying started, so we've got about 9 minutes before we go gridding. We'll kind of just run through the breakthrough of the race information that I've got pulled up now. Didn't have that stage break in there in the race information, so it's good that he passed that information along. But this is Season 2, race number 1, opening race of Season 2. We've got 80 laps tonight, Chad. Qualifying is about 10 minutes, so we've got about 8 minutes and 45 seconds left in the qualifying. Sponsors for this season are Trophy Shop Canada, Admin Box, Alexandria Customs. The information for those, Alexandria Customs is your custom PCs. You can get all of your different details for that from alexandriacustoms.com. go ahead and pull that up and look at them. Order a PC if you need it. You'll definitely find a lot of cool stuff in there. They've got a lot of really nice PCs. A lot better maybe than the one that I have even. But we've got trophyshopcanada.com as well for all your trophy needs. So if you're a league out there, stuff like that, you can go and look and find those trophies that you want to hand out to those drivers. Also tonight's sponsor for myself, Swag Designs on Twitter. You can go to Twitter and search for Swag Designs with a Z, not an S in the middle, and you'll find all the swag that you need, like custom stickers, keychains, posters, coasters, and much more, all designed by Swag Designs. Great company. I've got stickers of my own. I've got a poster up on the wall of my logo and things like that, so definitely go to them if you need that. And then admin box, if you are a racer, broadcaster, whatever you got, if you need a push button box, definitely go to adminbox.com. They'll create you one, custom one, whatever you need, and go and get that from adminbox.com. But Chad, those are the sponsors for this season. It's going to be a great season. I'm getting ready for this thing. It looks like qualifying's actually wrapping up, if I'm not mistaken. It looks like one of two left. So we're going to go right into the national anthem, Shad, and come on back for the gridding. All right, we're back from the national anthem. Didn't realize that they threw in a warm-up practice or something in between there. So we've got 4.5 minutes left of qualifying. We'll go into the gridding process after we do a little more talking about tonight's race. Shad, I'm gonna make you do it. Pick a driver for tonight's winner.
Yeah, you just had to put me on the spot, but
I know who you're gonna go with, but go ahead.
no, actually, I think I'm going to go with a new driver. It's going to break through right off the bat, and I think it's going to be that 3-car of Nick Gowan.
Well, I was not expecting you to go with Nick right off the bat. I was kind of expecting you to go with your buddy in the 7, the champion driver. But I'm gonna look at John Osborne. Last season, finishing second in the playoffs, made it into the playoffs with missing race number 1 last season. Came on strong in the second half of the season. I think he's a driver that can definitely contend. He's part of the team that was really, really fast last season, broke away. I don't know if we'll see that again, but I'm gonna go with John. Maybe a little good luck his way, and try to get that first win, as he was not able to get a first win last season in season 1. Maybe he kicks off season 2 with putting a stamp on this season with getting that first win right away. Looking through the rest of the field, Chad, there's some heavy hitters in here for super speedways. Mike Papa Bear Campbell, super speedway, really fast. His son, Mike Campbell the third, also in the field, very fast as super speedways. Bill Hells, a newcomer, late entry into the season this afternoon. He's also a very good super speedway driver. They're all three mixed in. I wouldn't be surprised if they're all three actually on a team, but. There's definitely some heavy hitters in there. Jason Blaney was not part of Daytona last season, was very fast at Talladega, had a teammate, Wesley Jeanette, was not part of Daytona last season either. So a lot of drivers mixed in here that were part of Daytona and were not part of Daytona, but were able to run throughout the rest of the season. And then a bunch of newcomer rookies with the yellow stripes on their bumpers, hypothetically. But I don't know. I think this is going to be a race of attrition. We usually see that happen. So we've got 30 seconds left, Shad. We'll go into the final prep before gridding, and we'll come right on back and have a special little treat.
Give you an engine, low to the ground, extra big oil pans will cut the wind from underneath you. That'll give you 30 to 40 more horsepower. I'm gonna give you a fuel line that will hold an extra gallon of gas. I'm gonna shave half an inch off you and shape you like a bullet. And when we get you primed, painted, and weighed, you're gonna be ready to go out on that racetrack. You hear me? You're gonna be perfect.
Whoo, Shad, that gets me pumped up every single time I see that. Hope everybody enjoyed that little clip from Days of Thunder. Do not own the rights to that, so figured it was pretty fitting for the Daytona season kickoff here at Velocity Motorsports. Season 2, race number 1. A lot of drivers in the field, Shad. We've got 24 on track. It looks like we have about 30 maybe in the field. So this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, and looking at the qualifying as it's wrapping up here, no surprise, Curto, who's number 1, and he's got a teammate right to his outside to start off the season.
Yep, going into the gridding process now, Shad. We'll pull up that information now. It looks like Tyler Dilhar got the pole, and that's our pole award for tonight, brought to you by TrophyShopCanada.com. Jose Ruiz to his outside. Michael Carter sitting in third on the inside row, second row. David Mayo on the outside of the second row in fourth. Wesley Jeanette in fifth. Jason Blaney sixth. A lot of teammates side by side, Chad, to kick off this thing. John Osborne sitting seventh. Johnny Dispaquale, who won the Phoenix race to end the season, is sitting eighth. John Tyler sitting ninth. Jessica Childs, who we just spoke to in the 19 car, sitting 10th. Chris Murphy, your last season champion for season 1, going to start off in 11th tonight, Chad. And 12th is Papa Bear Campbell.
Yeah, then we got 13th, going to be the 24, Hunter Bailey. To his outside, it's going to be the 15 of Connor Elliott. And then you got in 15th, Nathan Line. 16th, Paul Wolf. 17th, got 63 of Bill Sleep. Hopefully he's not sleeping tonight. And then to his outside, rocking that triple-digit, Kurt. Always got to be worried about somebody's rocking 3 digits, and that's going to be the 702 of Bobby Henson in 18th. 19th is going to be Jason Palmer. 20 is going to be Michael Berdusky. 21st is going to be Michael Campbell the third. 22nd is going to be Andrew Bolander, returning from last season. 23rd is going to be the 45 Isaac Brock. 24th, Kurt, the last car to take time in qualifying is going to be that 17 of Rodney Ayers. And then we got a bunch of a few no time guys. 25th is going to go to Bill Hales. 26th, my pick, Nicholas Gowan. 27th is going to be the 88 of Tyler Belanger. 28th is going to be Devontae Peterson. 29th is going to be the 9 of Austin Walton. Then 30th, you got the 1 car of Tyler Tayon. 31st is going to be the 44 of Brandon Watkins. 32nd, J. Ryan Horvat. And then rounding out this 33 car field, Kurt, is going to be the 10 of Sean Walton.
Yeah, Shed, this field is stacked with a lot of different drivers, a lot of returnees, and a lot of newcomers as far as the series goes. But, wow, yeah. I'm kind of surprised on a few of the drivers who did not take time during qualifying. Nick Gowan being one of them, Chad. Your driver that you picked did not run a qualifying lap. We know, though, at Daytona Superspeedway tracks, it doesn't necessarily matter where you start in this race because you can start dead last and wind up first by lap 10. So it does not really matter where you start, but having that starting position up on the front row like Tyler Dohar and Jose Ruiz teammates do, we'll see if they play that old switch game, Chad, where the inside line lets the outside line come down in front of them so they can try to break away from the field. Their two teammates are riddled back through the top 10 or top 11, but I have a feeling they're not going to sit there too long by themselves. There's a lot of heavy hitters in this top 10 as well.
Yeah, we're going to find out real quickly who are the guys that are going to go for those stage points. I think a lot of those guys not taking time in qualifying are going to be the guys that are going to be sitting in the back trying to save that fast repair for the end of the race. We know when these things get down to 20 laps to go that the brake pedal becomes non-existent, and that's when we see a lot of accidents. So getting ready to start the season off with a bang, Kurt, with Tyler Dohar and Jose Ruiz kicking off the front row.
Yeah, Chad, pace cars coming out of turn 4 now with the field trailing. Going to be ducking down pit road, a long entrance into pit road to get speeds down. But Chad, we are here for season 2, Velocity Motorsports, and we are underway. Green flag waving in the booth. We are green.
Dohar gets a pretty good jump. Jose Ruiz on that outside, Kurt, gets a little bit of a better jump. He's able to stay side by side with his teammate. We'll have to see if that outside line gets formed up faster and they can get that momentum. Of Michael Carter behind him, giving him a little bit of a push.
Yeah, there's a lot of cars coming. Jose Ruiz with a big run on the 77. Nowhere to go with it, though, Shad, as he looked like he was going to duck down, but the 8 was just there on the left fender to where he could not get tucked down and try to go underneath his teammate, but tucks in right on the 77 bumper and gets a good push, gets able to get down finally. Now the front 2 field is led by Elite Performance Motorsports team. Not a good sign for the rest of the field, Chad, but the 8 car of Michael Carter looking really good. I like that paint scheme, too.
Yeah, I think, Jose... Oh, we got a wreck, Kurt, already coming out of the tri-oval.
Ooh, big wreck. A lot of cars spinning across the infield there. There's going to be a handful of cars mixed into this one, Chad, and it looks like there's several. One is Tyler Tayon, Michael Berdusky mixed into here, Brandon Watkins, Bobby Henson, Isaac Brock, Austin Walton in the 9. It looked like maybe Sean Walton as well. And Ryan Horvath was also spinning. But we'll go back and take a look at this one here as it kicked off here. Not a good sign when it's lap number 1, Chad, coming around for lap number 2. And we've got an accident already in turn 1 and 2. As I pull up that replay, brought to you by the 3 sponsors for the league, Alexandria Customs, Admin Box, and CanadiaTrophy.com. Or TrophyCanada.com. All right, pulling up the drivers that were involved in this one, Chad. We'll try to look back. I saw the 702 spinning around, so we'll start with him. Not sure what started it, but...
that's where it starts.
Oh, good. Looks like the 36 of Michael Berdusky maybe tried to shoot the middle, try to go 3 wide there, gets clipped or clips the 702 there, the triple-digit car, and Calamity starts after that. Back it up just
Yeah.
a little bit, Shad, and take a look at this again.
Yeah, from what I'm watching, it looks like the 702 goes up high. Perdusky decides to go 3 wide and split him. And then I think the 702 just did not realize he was 3 wide. Kind of comes down a little bit on that 36. And then the 36 plays ping pong with that inside car of the 63. And then they all 3 end up going around.
Whew. Tyler Belanger just got some major damage too, Shad. He was involved in this. He got clipped by somebody not slowing down, and then as the car spun off the track, he tried to avoid him, and didn't work so well. He got some damage down the right side for sure. I don't think they have a fast repair. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that one, Shad, but if they don't, it's going to be a long night for some of these guys who got some major damage during that wreck right there.
Yeah, they get 1 fast repair, so a lot of these guys are going to be using that up already. I mean, we're talking, early into this race, start of lap 2. So definitely not the way that a lot of these guys want to start the season off, with having to play it safe from here on out. We're talking going, 75, 74 laps, with not being able to be aggressive at all, just hoping to make it to the end. So unfortunate for those that really weren't the reason why this caution happened.
Yeah, and I mean that's the downside of super speedway racing. It's packed in, not a lot of room to make maneuvers whenever the big one strikes, and that one definitely was a big one. Definitely took out a handful of drivers there. Some drivers that elected not to take that qualifying lap, Chad, were involved in this one, so that's a mistake on their part for looking to not do that qualifying lap and try to stay out of trouble, and still got caught up in it. So sometimes it's best to try to run that qualifying lap and start up front. Sometimes it's best to stay in the back and try to back off the field and try to roll through it. Tyler Belanger, one of them, that tried to roll through it and just got run over by somebody else behind him. And then that driver that ran into him ran into a car that was sliding off the track and spun that car into the door of Tyler Belanger. So trying to avoid it by staying in the back sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, that's why I just have the mindset, if you're going to go to that back of the pack and hang out, you got to stay off the pack. Be about a second back to where you still have the draft. And then that way it gives you plenty of time to, slow down if there's a wreck in front of you, and also limits the amount of cars behind you that are going to run into you. So I feel like if that was a strategy you're going to play, you got to make sure you get down to the bottom and let cars go, or get below that yellow line and let them go. But unfortunately, if they were playing that strategy, I don't know if they were expecting it to happen on start of lap 2. So still a long race to go, but for some of these guys, they're going to have to be on their tippy toes.
Well, that's definitely going to be the case for a lot of the drivers in the back right now that had to do repairs, especially the drivers, Chad, that did not elect to take that fast repair, holding on to it, as we do have still almost the entire race. We still got 75 laps to go. We're going to see more than one wreck tonight, so I don't know if I would have used it if I didn't necessarily have to, because I have a feeling we're going to see another one, and I hate to use that fast repair less than 2 laps into the race, or less than 3 laps into the race, and then get caught up in another one later on. But we've got 1 to go to green, Shed. They're coming into turn 3 and 4 now. We were going to talk to a driver, but figured it's a little early to jump in and talk to the leader. Really was only the leader for a lap, and then has been sitting the leader underneath caution. So we'll go from here, but we'll try to talk to some other drivers throughout the field as well. I know there's a lot of people out there watching right now. I think we have about 40 viewers between the Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and the Roku channel. So there's a lot of different viewers out there, a lot of people rooting for different people. We'll try to pull up and talk to different drivers and pay attention to different drivers as well this season. But yeah, we've got the front row of Tyler Dilhar and Jose Ruiz going to start it off again as we go into that restart zone. Tyler Dilhar getting on the loud pedal, screaming across the start line, and we are back underway. Jose Ruiz trying to duck down underneath his, behind his teammate, getting caught up a little bit by the 8, makes it down safely, now in line with his teammate. We're restarted, Cheb.
Yeah, Dilhar, I think they planned that he was going to get the jump on Jose, open up that gap behind him for him to come down. Dilhar decided to go up a little bit, give that draft to his teammate, which allowed him to clear the 8 car. Now they're all back single file here. And it looks like single file through about the first quite a few cars. As I think that caution might have shaken up the field as, hey, let's keep the green, guys. We got a long way to go.
Listen to the sound of these cars flying by. A lot of good views this year. We've got a lot of different camera angles and things like that as the guys are coming into turn 1 and 2 now. I'll have them flying through here, but a lot of cars on track. Front, probably 7 cars are single file. The rest are double wide racing, Shad. I'm not sure exactly when people want to start going. We know we have that stage break coming up. Stage break will be lap 30, so I don't know when you want to kick it off. If it's a lot like the end of the race, Shad, where probably the last 10 laps you want to be moving towards the front, if not already be towards the front at that point. When it comes to stage racing, getting those bonus points and things like that, now that will transfer over to the playoffs, Shad, will you make that move with 10 laps to go on the stage?
I don't know if it's really worth it, especially the first race of the season. I mean, obviously, if you're up here in the top 10, yeah, you're going to get those points. But for those guys way in the back to get up front, they're going to have help. And they're going to have to go to the outside because it looks like the whole entire field, Kurt, is migrating to the bottom right now, one long train. We still got quite a ways before we get to that stage mark. But right now, as the way it's shaping up, you're going to have a lot of help, and you're going to have to go to the outside to make it happen.
Yeah, it's everybody kind of going down to the bottom. It's what we always called bottom feeding when we were over on console because it seemed to be the only way to run around the super speedways because the outside didn't have any speed. I'm kind of surprised to see him dropping down into single file on the bottom line this early in the race, Chad. Do you think it's strategy of, hey, let's just get through the first half of this race of the stage and then we'll go racing? Or do you think it's just guys saying, hey, you know what, I'll get through the first 20 laps of the stage and then I'll start making my way through the outside trying to come up around these guys? But right now you've got those two teammates at the front trying to lead this field to that stage break.
Yeah, I think right now, I mean, with that early caution, Kurt, it tends to settle everyone down. They realize, hey, I don't want to use my fast repair this early. So I think a lot of guys right now are just kind of riding, getting a feel for, how their car is handling. Because last season we were in the daytime for this race. So obviously with going to nighttime this season, the handling on your car may be different than what you thought it was going to be. And then also with everyone on the bottom right now, if you go to the top, you are going to go to the back of this line with no help. So right now they're kind of forced, but there is a 3-car breakaway, Kurt. The front 3 have about a 2-car length advantage over 4th place right now, even with them all being in a single file line.
Yeah, and they were pretty tucked in. Jose Ruiz was really tucked in on his teammate there, and the 8 was about as close as you could get to the back bumper of the 23, which really pushed him out there. But I don't know how long it'll sit like that. We've got a couple cars already coming down pit stops. That's kind of a shocker already, Shad. Am I missing something here?
Well, I was told by Chris Murphy that projected fuel for not being in the draft, it was going to be about 23 to 24 laps, and then if you're in the draft, it was going to be like 25, 26, depending on where you are in the line. So a lot of these guys coming down now to get that fuel to where they can make it to the end.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, it's kind of a break in between. We said 30 laps before the stage break. If they went 11 right there, they can definitely make it to the end of the stage. I'm just shocked because if a caution does come out, that kind of throws this out the window, I guess. Or, I mean, tires don't really matter, so I guess not. But I don't know if I would have given up the track position already.
Well, the benefit of doing this right now is, with the teammates that Dohar has. Of course, he's kind of out there front. They're going to swallow him up here pretty soon. But the 6 of those cars, or 5 cars that it will be, the 5 cars, they can run just as fast as the lead pack. So, I mean, it doesn't hurt. And obviously, we know how the calamity and the chaos happens when pitting with a giant group here. So to come down and only have to pit with like 5 or 6 cars, it makes it a lot easier on these drivers. So I actually don't think it's a bad plan. Plus, when they come out around the other groups, they're going to be at full speed, and the other group's going to have to make a decision whether or not to block it or force these guys to the outside.
Well, that other pack is coming down pit road now, Shad. We've got half the field, well, almost half the field already pitted. The second half is pitting now. There are some drivers still out on track, too. So that we're going to have 3 different groups by the time this thing gets over with. These guys here just went 13 laps. The other guys went 11. And there's some guys out on track right now on their 14th lap. So, and half, or some of them, Shad, that were in the back of the field to start that first caution went down pit road to grab fuel as well.
Yeah, and as you see that group of 5 cars, here they are coming up along that second group that pitted, flying right by them. So, so far it's working out to their plan. It's just whether or not that third group that's led right now by Nick Gowan, when they come down, if this group right here of the Filter Time Esports tag along with that 24 car, if they can make it by them as well.
I don't know. Something happened to Jose Ruiz, though, Shad. He's getting passed right now by the 3 of Nick Gowan. Did he not come down pit road with his group?
Jose's in front of John Osborne, Kurt.
Okay, I'm seeing 2 McDonald's cars. I don't know who's in the other one. But, okay, so yeah, Nick Gowan's still out in front, being chased by his teammate, Tyler Belanger. They're out front, Shad, by only about 5 seconds over that second pack of Ryan Horvat, Tyler Talon, and Austin Walton, Brandon Watkins, Bobby Henson. And then you've got that other pack of Jose Ruiz, John Osborne, Chris Murphy, Shad, and they're about 30 seconds back, but that front pack has not pitted, so I don't know how much longer this front pack is going to be able to stay out here. I wouldn't think that they would stay out for the full fuel run. There's no way they stayed enough fuel during that first caution to make it to the end of the stage, but they're getting closer and closer to the point where I think they need to come down, because by the time they come out, they would be passed.
Yeah, I mean, we know the tires, obviously this second group right now, which I think will take over the lead once Gowan's group does pit. None of them took tires. All of them were just splash and go. But yeah, for Nick Gowan, he's kind of running this out to where he's going to be hoping for a caution, because right now he doesn't have that many cars with him compared to this group led by Jose Ruiz. And if he continues to run laps, he won't even be in touch with this group right here. So they need to make a decision whether we're staying out till the last drop of fuel, or we're just going to take our losses for this stage and not worry about it.
Yeah, and I was trying to show the difference there. I'll pull up the track map on screen so you guys can see the dots, since we have so many different cars all over the place. You can see the packs right there on screen now. So the leader is that neon green around that car. He's out front right now, coming through the front stretch off of turn 4. The pack that we're looking at right now with the 23, the 81, the 7, the 77, the 24, and the 22, they are... I don't know where that pack is on the screen. Okay, so that's why I had the wrong neon green. The neon green is actually the 3 car, and it's coming across the front right now, just past the finish line, going into turn 1. The second pack, which is Brandon Watkins, Bobby Henson, Andrew Bolander, and Tyler Tayon right out in front of them. They are not that far behind. They're coming through turns 1 and 2 as well. And then that other pack that we were talking about with Jose Ruiz, John Osborne, Chris Murphy, and that group, they are just now crossing the start stripe. So they are over a half a track behind the leaders. But they have pitted.
Yeah, and they've already pitted. So we already know the way the pit lane works here at Daytona. When you come down pit road, if somebody's at half a track, they're going to go by you. They're not just going to go by you. They're going to go by you and leave you in the dust. So right now, Gowan, they only have 3 cars compared to this front group, which has 7 or 8. Or, guess, front group once pit cycle happens. But yeah, right now, Nick Gowan and them are, I think they're praying for a caution if they want to have any chance of the stage. If not, they're going to be left in the dark.
Yeah, I'm noticing the 8 car is mixed in with the front pack with the 3, the 88, and the 25. But the 8 car is a lap down. So if we do end up having a caution, he would be the lucky dog right now. But he has already pitted. So not sure exactly what happened to him there. He's 1 lap down. Bill Sleep is also 1 lap down. So it looks like Bill would be the lucky dog, if I'm not mistaken, unless that's Bill in the neon green car that they just passed. That's behind the 8 car now. But once this front 3 pits, Shad, that 8 car is going to be left alone. And I have a feeling he's going to unlap himself and then probably come around and be lapped again before the end of the stage break. But those other 2 packs, Shad, are closing in a little bit. Brandon Watkins' group has fallen off to 11 seconds. The other pack of Jose Ruiz, John Osborne, and them, they are 22 seconds. So they've gained almost 7 seconds already.
Yeah, 22 seconds. I'm looking at it. It's kind of coming down. So they're definitely catching 3rd through 5th, which is Jason Palmer, Watkins, and Henson. They are catching, and Tyler Taylor's in that group as well. They are definitely catching that group. And then obviously 21 seconds is what the gap is right now back to Jose Ruiz. They will definitely gain that much with the leaders pitting. So Nick Gowan right now, Tyler Belanger, and Jason Palmer, they are praying for a caution, because if not, they will go way outside of the top 10 once the cycle goes through.
Appreciate the follow from Fortnite God 123974 that just followed. Appreciate the follow there. There's a lot of people on chat. A couple different drivers being rooted for. Go Devontae is one of them. That's Damara Lee, or Damara Laree, that is watching as well, and that would be for Devontae Peterson, who's in the 5 car. He's currently scored in 25th right now, behind Michael Bordusky, who I believe was in that incident, and that's what was maybe causing that. But yeah, a lot of different drivers mixed in through the field. If you've got a driver out there, to the people in chat, as we have 35 viewers out there right now, between the 3 or 4 different places we have this thing streaming. If you have a favorite driver, root them on in the chat, and I will hold them up on stream so we can check out your favorite driver. Shad, Nick Gowan in that front pack is still out there on track, and they're on their 19th lap right now, which is kind of crazy that they still have not come down pit road.
Yeah, second group curve of Jose Ruiz and them. They're got a couple mixed words going on over Racecom right now. Is that front 4 obviously is not too happy with that 22, and I believe it is the
22 Jason Bellini.
Yeah,
and the 74 Wesley Jeanette.
Yeah,
those 2 had issues with those 4 drivers. Those 6 all were battling each other last season.
They keep trying to pass, this group instead of just staying in a line. They keep trying to pass, which is slowing them down. We got 7 laps, Kurt, until the end of the stage. If Gowan is somehow, I don't know how he would have been able to save enough, but if he is, they're currently still 15 seconds ahead of Jose Ruiz. So sitting here, fighting, going too wide is only slowing this group down, and you aren't going to catch them doing that. So they need to settle it out right now and fight when there's about 1 lap to go, not when there's still 7 or 8 to go.
Yeah, I'm seeing it's the 24 and the 22 mixed in with that group. I don't see the 74. He's fallen off a little bit.
He actually fell off because of it. Sitting there battling, he actually lost the draft of this group. So that just goes to show you there, sometimes being aggressive, trying to make moves instead of just riding for a little while can tend to hurt you, because that 74 is going to end up dropping back to the next pack behind him.
So we got a fan favorite out there, John Tyler, out there right now on track. Got him pulled up from Midway, Tennessee. He is out here right now running around in the 12 car, leading this pack of Johnny Desquali, the 38, the 53 of Bill Hells, and a couple others mixed in here as well. So the Tyler's out there in the chat and you on YouTube. Here is your driver, John Tyler, right now driving around in this third pack, trying to catch up to the leaders.
Yeah, you can see right there, Kurt, from the shot, they are gaining a ton on that 74 car. They are going to eat him up when they get to him. Hopefully there's not a block thrown, because this group is coming with a head of steam that 74 just will not be able to block.
And we've got Sandra Nielsen out there as well, rooting on Johnny Disquali in the 42. So I've got both of the two fan favorites out there being rooted for on screen, since they are nose to tail there. But there goes the 74 Wesley Jeanette that you were talking about, Shad. He is going to get blown the doors off as this group is going to go by him. He's going to have to tuck into this group and hope that he carries the draft to stay in this pack. If not, he's going to fall off even more by himself. You see guys making evasive moves to go around the 74, but that actually allows the 74 to tuck right in as he got the draft from the 53, and now they're kind of spread out behind them. A few cars kind of separated there. It looked like maybe it was Connor Elliott that got broken away off to the side in that 15 Helmets car. Look at the big run he gets on the 74 and then lets off. Big runs come from these next-gen cars, Chev.
Yeah, these cars just pack or punch a hole in the air, and you can get some gigantic runs because of it. And that's why running too wide is such a struggle, because you are literally punching such a gigantic hole in the air that cars behind you can just latch onto it. So that's why running single file around here is definitely the way to go if you're trying to hold on to that track position and move away. But looking back, Kurt, from the 3 car back to back straightaway, I can see that 23 McDonald's machine of Jose Ruiz. So they are definitely closing that gap by a lot. Whether or not they can get there in the next 3 laps, we'll find out. And does Nicholas Gowan and this group have enough fuel? I don't know how they would unless they came down and topped off and were able to save a ton of fuel. Right now they're running, 48 eighths, and if I go to
they
Jose
pitted 24
Ruiz,
laps ago, Shad, so they actually might be able to if they did save a little bit under the caution laps. They're on their 28th lap right now. We've only got 2 laps to go. The caution will be thrown on lap 30. So,
I figured it out, Kurt. They are running 2 seconds slower than this group led by Jose Ruiz. So they are definitely slowed it down their pace to make the fuel, and that's how they're still out there. But they're losing 2 seconds a lap, and we have 3 laps to go, Kurt. It's going to be extremely close whether or not Jose Ruiz and this group is able to catch them by the end of the start-finish line. But as it sits right now, Kurt, we're coming to 2 to go. As Jose crosses the line right here, they're going to be
5 seconds.
5 seconds. So I don't know if they get there. They ran a 46.5, Kurt, and the leaders ran a 48.5. So 2 seconds exactly. I don't think they get there right now.
Yeah, and the other problem too, Chev, was that Nick Gowan, even if they were backing it off a little bit, I think it's also slower because they don't have as many cars. They only have 3 or 4 cars drafted together. But right now, the 8 car, which is a lap down car, they must have negotiated with the 8 and the car right behind the 8, who are lap down cars, to both get their laps back, but to be out in front of Nick so they could draft and save fuel behind them as well. As we come across the line, Bellinger tries to go around, does not get there. But 3 is going to win stage 1, Chev.
I think Gowan right now must be just have the car in neutral right now, trying to make it back around.
We got a car spinning across the grass. And we're under caution for the stage break. But, Shad, there was a car spinning across the middle there, and I don't know who that was.
I think it was the 11. Yeah, the 11 of Michael Campbell the third. Right behind his dad in that 71 Jack Daniels machine.
He didn't get any damage,
actually,
luckily.
Actually runs into a slower car, Kurt, of the 1, Tyler Tayon. Did not see him to the last second. Actually ran right into the back of him, Kurt, and that's what sent him down through the grass, down pit road.
Yeah, and he actually spun going around turn 1 and 2 as well on the apron. So not a very good start to this race for the 11. We'll see if he can tame the beast as it's on the side of his car and try to come back around and get back to going here. He's still on the lead lap, Shad, so he didn't bring out the caution. The caution came out because of the stage break, but that's going to be our winner of stage 1, Nick Gowan. We'll try to talk to Nick, Shad, while they go through the pit stops, but that's what the confusion was for us, is they all pitted during the caution, which afforded them an extra couple laps, plus they were able to save during that caution as well, and they were all able to make it to lap 30 before the caution came out.
Yeah, it looks like the 3 Kurt is actually out of fuel going down the backstretch. He's gonna
That's
have to
going to be a
coast,
problem.
to get to pit lane.
I'm surprised he didn't call for a teammate to push him, since Tyler B was right behind him when he ran out of fuel. I don't know if that's frowned upon, but...
Oh, it looks like Tyler B is actually out of fuel as well.
Oh, that'd be why Tyler B wasn't pushing him. And kind of a downfall of only having 2 teammates. But the field is going to come down pit road right now, led by Jason Palmer, who takes over the lead there. Jose Ruiz coming in behind him. All the cars going to try to make it down pit road. Tyler B able to make it to the line. We'll see if he'll make it to his box. Hopefully does not miss his box because he's out of fuel and he won't be able to back it up. And I don't know if Nick's going to be able to make it, Chad. He's rolling right now to the pit lane. He is very, very slow on the field. It's going to be close if he's able to make it right now. He's at 35 miles an hour as he's coming to the pit line. Luckily, he didn't qualify, which means his pit box is going to be one of the first ones to get to. So he's not to go too far here. But very, very close for that team of the 3 and the 88.
Yeah, that's stretching it to the very last drop to get a stage win. Looks like he is going to make it to his box just fine.
Makes it to his box.
Yeah, so he doesn't go through because obviously if he went through, he wouldn't be able to back up, so he'd have to tow it. But yeah, does make it, gets that stage win, first one of the season here at Daytona.
All right, Chad, well, if you want to grab Nick, we'll talk to our stage 1 winner. I'm going to adjust the volume just a little bit. All right, Mr. Nick in the number 3, pushing it to the very limit there to make it to your pit box, but you win stage 1. Shad and I were a little confused on how or if you guys were going to be able to make it to the end of the stage, but we didn't realize that you guys had topped off during the caution. You make it to the end, you win stage 1 here in season 2, race number 1. Luckily, you made it to your box and didn't blow through it. How are you looking at the rest of the race now that you know the fuel mileage for sure as you ran out?
Well, hopefully I won't have to stretch it like that again. I just miscalculated by 1 lap. I completely forgot about the pace lap after the fact. So feeling pretty good. I know we got a lot of racing left, so now that the pack is all grouped back up together, it's going to be a lot of pack racing. So just hopefully stay out of the potential big one, and hopefully they keep the car clean. And I'm going to kiss the field here. And just hope to keep the nose clean and hope to at least have a shot there at the end. So that's all I really can hope for.
Well, Nick, we're in the first race. You know, you're new to the series. You know, what kind of statement does that put on for the rest of this field? It's that you went out here and saved fuel when Dohar's kind of been that guy that we've looked at last season of being able to stretch the fuel. And here you are going out race 1, winning the first stage on fuel mileage.
Well, I mean, it's something that's always on my mind. Just thinking of like just every possible strategy, just to try to find a step over the competition. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But always looking for that edge over everyone else. And as far as the statement goes, I mean, I'm here to win races and nothing less.
All right, well, Nick, good luck here as you guys are getting ready to go to green. Shad, send him back down to his teammates so he can get set up and ready to go here as they're getting ready to go green. But we're going to go back to racing here for the final stage, or stage 2, whatever you want to call this part, with only 1 stage in here. But we hit the restart box, and Jose Ruiz is going to lead us through the green flag as it's waving. And we'll go into turn 1 with the field 2x2x2 as they go in.
Yeah, Kurt. And at the end of that stage one, going to go to Andrew Bolander is going to get that Alexandria Customs Lucky Dog Award and get himself back on the lead lap. I think he was involved in that early caution, so this definitely benefited him. And now he's got a shot to win the first race of the season.
Well, that Lucky Dog Award is going to be awarded to each driver that wins the Lucky Dog, and that is your Alexandria Customs Lucky Dog recipient. And we'll be looking forward to posting that every single race to see who the Lucky Dog was at each caution. Well, back to the racing. We've got new leader, Chad. Jason Blaney out front in that 22 that was being kind of, I don't know what you want to call it, but was trying to make passes on that group of guys in that second pack. Fortunately for him, pays off for him as he gets right back up to the front and leads the field. We saw him lead a ton of laps last season, but only got the one win. Some other new drivers up in the top 10, Chad, Bill Hales being one of them, Jason Palmer in the 25, who followed those leaders for as long as he possibly could. He's up here in the top 5 as well. Connor Elliott in the 15 in the top 10. John Osborne, Chris Murphy rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, Bill Hales, another newcomer this season, finding himself up here in the top 3. Also, the 25, Jason Palmer, Kurt, was involved in that first wreck. I'm pretty sure by watching what I've seen, he had to use that fast repair. So now he's finding himself up in his top 5. We're going to have to be careful the rest of this race as he has no fallback to fix that car. So, but good to see him already up here in the top 5. As the 15, Kurt, of Connor Elliott is leading a few cars on that outside, trying to mix this thing up and not let them go back to single file as we've seen before that stage break.
Yeah, a lot of different things are happening here as we're 2x2 all the way through. We saw a lot of guys getting single file last time, Chad, after only a handful of laps, but we've only got single file for the front 5. The rest are 2x2 through the field. I don't know if we'll see that now that we've got the final stage in the race, Chad. Nobody really going for the stage. It is now go till the end, and we have 43 laps left in this race, Chad. So guys are not necessarily going to be looking to get single file and just run the laps out, maybe. You would think some of them would, with a lot of laps left. We're still going to have possibly 2 pit stops, maybe 1 pit stop, depending on how much fuel they save there under caution. But very, very exciting racing going on. Down the backstretch we go. I'm not seeing the elite boys, Chad. They're towards the back.
No, I mean, they're Jose's right there leading on the end. They're in 6th place, on. But yeah, we could get about 26 laps if you're in the draft. So I think from here, Kurt, doing the math real quick, I think they can make it just on 1 pit stop, but it's going to be very tight. You're going to have to be one of those guys riding in the pack. You cannot be leading this line if you want to make it just a 1-stop race.
And we've seen the fuel problems that the 22 has made in several races last season. Wasn't able to come up with the fuel strategy very well in some of those races, and it wound up costing him. Is this a mistake here, Shad, by leading the field? If you're going to have to conserve some fuel to make it only a 1-stop race, he's out front leading the pack, and it's making him use more fuel than anybody else towing around the field.
Yeah, we got a lap car, Kurt, right now. That's going to be that one car, Tyler Tayon. Yeah, he's going to make this field go 3 wide as they all are going to go by him. Going to be a little trick. Oh, we got contact, Kurt, right there. Oh, and there's going to start a wreck right there. I think that was the 19. Yeah, 19 machine, Kurt. Who is that? Is that Jessica?
Yep. Jessica's in your favorite 19 car.
Yeah, so the 19 of Jessica, she was going 3 wide through the tri-oval. It's a tricky area to do it. And unfortunately, came up the track a little bit, touched that one car, and then kind of bounced off of the car on the inside. And that's what started that chain reaction. But like you were saying, before about the fuel, you definitely don't want to be up front right now, because that means you cannot be up front at the end of this and, make it at the end. So this is definitely going to benefit everyone. They can top off and for sure make it on 1 stop from here.
Well, we'll take a look at the incident there. We'll go and find Jessica on track as she was involved here. but it looks like I'm a little too far, so we'll back it up just a little bit as the contact came. But like you said, Shad, the one car, the slower car there, trying to stay on the track, but guys are snaking by him, and as they go through the trial with a 19, I don't know if that was netcode or if that was just an incident there, but it looked like the car just shook left and then right into the one. Just came up the track, bumped doors with the one, sent the 19 down into the rest of the field, turning the 8 car, who was having a good race there, and a couple others also involved here. But Talatyon and well, in my opinion, probably sitting on the right paint scheme. The Oakland Raiders, obviously not an Oakland Raider fan, but and they just got rid of probably their best player, but Derek Carr going to the Saints. But right now, Talatyon not having a good night, sitting right now in 32nd place and actually 3 laps down. So going to be a few more laps maybe down here as they get wrapped back up and get going here. But Shad, the second caution of the night, other than the stage break there. So you guys are going to have to reset here. It's going to allow them to conserve that fuel that you were talking about. Is this going to be enough for them to conserve guys who have those clutches or guys who shut those off? But it actually looks like they're all going to come down pit lane. Never mind. Or actually just the front ones are. That elite performance team staying out.
Yeah, I think the 22 leading the line around there. The only way he was going to make it is he was going to have to come down and top off. But those guys that were sitting in the draft, I think they were able to save enough to where they could make it. But the only problem is obviously is if they're out front now leading the line, they're not going to be able to save. So a little bit of cat and mouse. I think for me, I would have came down, taken the fuel, and guaranteed myself, only one stop from here.
I just had somebody in the chat say to turn up the volume, so
Car volume too loud to hear you.
Okay, well, I will turn that down. I think it's the different camera angles. There's some camera angles where it's a lot louder than other ones, so I'll crank it down a little bit. If I need to turn it back up, let me know, and I will adjust all these settings for you guys viewing the race. But Shad, that's going to put Jose Ruiz in the lead. So if you want to grab him real quick as they're getting ready to come to 1 to green. So we'll talk to Jose real quick and see how that team's doing.
Uh-oh.
Jose, it's Watson Shadowlack up in the booth. We see that 23 McDonald's car out front right now. Your team deciding to stay out after that caution there. Do you guys have enough fuel to make it to a one-stop race?
Yeah, I have a pretty good feeling we do. Hello?
We got you here.
Oh, you got it? All right.
All right. You guys have been kind of all over the place. You and Dohar leading the race for a lot of it until those green flag stops there. And then you guys were trying to make a run towards the leaders before they made the caution come out for the end of the stage break. There was a lot of chatter on the chat box there for the 22 with you guys pulling out and trying to go around you, not staying in line. Do you think that was what held you guys up by almost 5 seconds from getting back to the leaders?
No, I think what it was that we assumed that the stage break was going to be on the completion of 30, but it ended up being the completion of 29. So I think if we knew that before, we probably would have topped off earlier. But oh well, I mean, we know now what happened. So I think that's why we stayed out here, just to see what happens. Hopefully we don't get too many cautions here, but if not, I mean, if we do, we'll probably just change something up.
Shad, any questions for the 23 before we send them back down?
Well, Jose, you got all your teammates right around you. Are you guys going to just try to pull the strategy that you guys did last season, all link up and just put a toast on the field? Or you maybe want to ride in the back, get in that draft, save a little bit more fuel, and guarantee yourselves?
I think we're just going to stay up here and hopefully make it to the end. Obviously stay together. Who knows, though? There's a lot more of us than there was last season, so I think staying up front is probably going to be the goal here.
All right, well, Shad, send him back down to his teammates real quick, and we'll get back ready to go green. Here's the pace cars getting ready to duck on off. And the Jose Ruiz in that 23 will lead him into the restart zone with his teammate, the 81 of John Osborne, to his outside. Chris Murphy on the rear bumper of the 23, and Tyler Doe on the rear bumper of the 81 as we go green underneath the start stripe. And back into turn one we head, Chad, with 38 laps to go.
Yeah, it didn't look like Jose got on the gas as hard as the outside line, and it's kind of bottled everybody up to where right now those two on the outside cannot get down, and we're racing too wide. I think the outside curve might actually prevail in this situation, and it's going to be John Osborne leading the field. I think once they clear the 23, they're going to duck down. Yep, and they do. So that's going to put all filter time cars all lined up 1 through 4 on that bottom line. You muted.
4 drivers on the bottom line trying to do exactly what they did last season, Chad, with 3 of them lined up and they disappeared from the field. Now they've got 4 drivers on this team. The 22 trying to lag or tag right on the back bumper of the 7, the 53 of Bill Hales, and the 25 of Jason Palmer on the outside line, trying to get that outside line going with the 74 Wesley Jeanette as well. I don't know what's going to happen here, Chad. We've got 2 wide racing all over the place, but that front 4 is definitely led by a team, so we'll see who can get into the mix here. Bill Hales coming with a big head of steam from the 25, pushing him.
We got a wreck on the backstretch going into turn 3. I don't see the caution out yet, though.
I do not see a car spun, but yeah. Back up front, though, Bill Hales getting a big push from the 25 of Jason Palmer, and he's actually going to take the lead, Chad. Is he going to duck down in front of the 81? He swerves right in front of the 81 and barely makes it in. There must have been a piece of paper of width between those bumpers, Chad, as he slid down right in front of the 81. I don't know if he's got a spotter tonight, but that spotter is earning his money if that's the case.
And they are going to throw the caution curve for that wreck.
Was that the 35, Chad, that spun? Of David Mayo?
I definitely seen the 26 for sure, but I'm not quite sure where it actually started.
Well, I'll try to go back and try to find those ones right there. I'm seeing 2 guys off track, 3 guys off track. We'll look here. Looks like Brandon Watkins went off track. Ryan Horvath went off track. And we'll pull them up. Starting right here, the 1 car in the way again, the 8 car down on the apron, slow as well, and the 26 goes around, makes contact. The 9 having some damage there, 36 or 35 as well. So definitely some heavy damage to a couple of those cars there, Shaq. Good call on the car spinning across the track. I don't know if that started with the 1 or if it started with the 8.
Yeah, there was a big checkup curve. A lot of cars got loose running in, kind of running right into the back of another one. A few cars had to go below the yellow line just to save it, and then a few others were checking up, and it looked like the 9 just did not expect that checkup and ran into the back of the 26, and that's what got him all swirly, and I think he collected the 35, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
Oh, you can hear the crowd cheering as these guys go across. We've got a lot of cars still in the field, Chad, and a lot of cars that have not used those fast repairs. So a lot of guys waiting to see what happens here as we've got now 34 laps to go as they come across the start stripe. We are on. Well, I thought we were going to be on 1 to green. Nope, we got 1 more lap before we go green. If you want to try to pull up Bill Hills real quick, we'll talk to the captain out front in the 53. Bill Hills leading this race right now. Bill, you got a copy of this? Swats and Shadowlack up in the booth.
Hey, guys, I got one.
What's going on, Bill? We got some heavy some aggressive driving going on there. You got a massive push from the 25, pushed you right out front in front of the 81. You swerved right in front of the 81. I don't know if you're using a spotter, but you might want to give him a little extra money on that one because there might have been a paper width between your 2 bumpers.
Well, it looked like I could see the front of his car from my rearview mirror, so you got to get down when you can,
Well, no spotter, I guess, but very, very smooth move, but close. But you're out front. We see you racing a lot of super speedways. You're very fast on a lot of different super speedways. Tonight, you're out front here leading with 34 laps to go. What's your expectations on the rest of the race from the front of the field?
I don't know. I don't have any teammates, so I'm just going to have to feel my way through it. I know there's 3 or 4 teammates right behind me, so just going to try to stay out of trouble. We got to pit at least one more time. I can make it on another stop here in about 15 laps. I'll be able to make it to the end. Just going to try to stay up front, but I'll probably get a run on the outside. But we're going to try to stay up here now that we're up here, you know.
Gotcha, Shad. Any question for the 53?
Yeah, Bill, like Kurt was saying, you know, we see a lot of your videos that you post throughout either Discord or Facebook of you winning a ton at restrictor plate races. So going into tonight, you know, brand new series for you, you're new to the league. What's kind of your expectations coming into a place like Daytona?
You know, I've got quite a few wins at super speedways. I've gotten much better at the 1.5 miles, so try to get in the lead, get a win. And just try to stay at the front as much as I can. I like driving these cars. You have to really manhandle them through these on these tracks. So I enjoy racing them. So we'll see what happens now.
All right, Chad. Well, Bill, we'll send you back down. Obviously, you said you don't have any teammates there, but I'm sure you'll make a couple friends if you're out front. They see how fast you are. But Chad, send him back down to wherever he was at. And they're 1 to green as they're coming off of turn 2 here. I'm seeing a lot of different people out in the chat. We got Sandra Nielsen Granny rooting on her grandson, Johnny Dispacquali. Claire Murphy out there saying car volume too loud. Okay, so that was earlier. We got Gab Fab saying go Dohar. We've got Demilla Laree saying go Devontae. We've got the Tiller saying John Tiller. So a lot of different people rooting people on. We've got now 36 viewers out there between the 4 different places that this is being streamed. But we'll get going back here, Shad, and we'll probably go into a side-by-side to run a couple commercials off. But a lot of good racing left. We've got 33 laps before we decide who the winner is going to be of race number 1 in Velocity Motorsports season number 2 at Daytona. Big race to start the season, but normally a race where guys either put a lot of emphasis on trying to get that win. If it's a win in you're in situation, this league is not a win in you're in. So a lot of guys don't look at this as a big start to the season. Race number 2 is their initial start, but pace cars down. We're back under green flag waving. Bill Hell's leading them into turn 1, Shad.
Bill Hell's making sure to not jump in front of Dohar by too much, allowing his teammate to fill the gap. Bill Hell's kind of backed up to Dohar to get that push, and now they're 2x2 from that P2 position on back, or as the bottom line doesn't look to be as formed as that top line right now, and they are actually getting a run as John Osborne, Kurt, closing the gap onto P1 and is actually in front of Bill Hell's as they're going off into turn 3. John Osborne, Kurt, looking to take the lead as the 25 of Jason Palmer actually looks like he might have touched the wall right there, but able to stay in that second position on that outside row, as it looks like Osborne with the momentum on the outside is going to take the lead here of this lap, and we got 31 to go.
Yeah, John Osborne going back to the lead there with a big push on the outside. Bill Hells took the lead from the outside. Now Jason Palmer, who seems to be a very good pusher, Shad, as he pushed the 53 to the front and now pushed the 81 to the front and takes over the second spot on the bottom. We've got Wesley Jeanette on the outside of the 74 being pushed by his teammate in the 22 of Jason Blaney. Little wobble there, and another car mixed in there as well. I believe that's the 38 of Nathan Line, who's tucked in there somewhere, right behind the 22, along with the 12, who we were talking about earlier, of John Tiller out there right now in the 12 pushing this group. And this is the two different teams, Chad. We've got 3 or 4 of them lined up on the outside, 3 or 4 of them lined up on the bottom line.
Yeah, it looks like you got 4 cars of, I believe it's Fueled Up Motorsports there, Kurt. They all got that F on their hood. On that outside line right now, all lined up. And then they got in 5th behind them, it's that 71, Kurt, of Michael Campbell. Just seen him involved in that wreck that took out Jessica Child. And here he is up in 5th on that outside line trying to make a move. And then my pick, Kurt, Nick Gowan in that 3. We seen him win stage 1, but run out of gas. He's back up there now as well on that outside line trying to make something happen, as we're coming down now, Kurt, to less than 30 to go when they cross the stripe here.
Yeah, we only have a handful of laps left, Shad, before they could make it to the end. So we'll see who peels off first. We'll see if guys try to pull off strategy of pitting first. Usually the guys who pit first usually come back out with a lead if they get a big enough group to go. We've got different teams here of 4s and 5s, some mix of teams of 2s, and the oddball 1 teams by themselves of Bill Hells. But you're going to have to go with some teammates or some friends to go down pit road and come out with some speed. You don't want to pit by yourself, and you don't want to pit with the fewest amount of cars because you will not make it back around to be able to take over the lead. You have to have a good group of guys with you and a good guys that will stay in line and not try to pass each other. So we'll see what happens. But, Chad, we are 2 by 2 from the second row on back. Wesley Jeanette now taking over the lead with a big push from his teammate, the 22 of Jason Blaney, as we come to 28 to go.
Fueled up Motorsport guys are trying to put a hold on that outside line. Right now, with the momentum, they definitely have control of this race. They're going to need some good pushing on that bottom for the bottom line to get up there. That 25 of Jason Palmer is just not sticking to the bumper right now of that 81 of John Osborne, to where that 22, he is just all over that 74, giving him a ton of boosts going down this back straightaway.
Yeah, Shad, and the longer these guys run on these tires, the looser they will get. And there's a saying from that movie that we watched at the beginning, that loose is fast. So I'm going to play it real quick, and we'll get a Harry Hog version of what those guys might be experiencing.
The rear end loose, car's fast. Loose is fast and on the edge of out of control.
So loose is fast, on the edge of out of control, Shad. These guys, the next-gen cars, when they start getting lower fuel in them, the tires start getting older, the cars start getting a little more loose as they come out of the corners, and we start seeing guys, whipping it down, trying to hold on to that car. You don't see them getting tight very much, it seems like. Every time they come off the corners, you'll see the cars kind of jolt left a little bit, and that's them getting a little loose as they come off, as the lighter load on the car with the fuel getting lower. We've got now 27 laps to go, coming to 26 as they come out of turn 4. We are getting within that window to make it to the end, Chad. Would you pit first?
Yeah, that's the strategy call right now with this large pack going 2 by 2. If you're a team of 4 cars, if you all decide to come down at one time and get yourself out of this mess, it could benefit you. Less cars, we've seen it before, to where Dohart and them came down with the less cars, and they were cruising through the field, making up a ton of ground. Unfortunately, just miscalculated when the stage end was going to be. But right now, the problem is one of their 4 cars, he's leading this second or this inside line. So there's going to have to be a ton of communication and really skillful driving of coming to pit road when one of your cars is 4 cars ahead of y'all. But right now, Kurt, on that outside line, that team of Fueled Up Motorsports is making it work. And actually, all 4 of them just cleared barely as that 12 comes down, but almost a wreck right there as the 25 goes up on the 3 car. But all 4 cars, Kurt, of that Fueled Up Motorsports able to clear, and that just left Mike Campbell the third out there on the outside by himself, pretty much leading that outside line. Muted, Kurt.
Yeah, I'm trying to look here. Chris Murphy, Chad, just had a close call. When the 12 slid down in front of his teammate of the 81 did not lift and ran right into the back of the 12, shooting him up to his teammate in the 38, but it also checked up everybody behind the 81, and the accordion effect happened to the 7. He got spun out of there, shot out of there like just a big ball rolling down a large hill, just shot out of there, and unfortunately, he's going to lose the entire field. So our champion not in the field right now, way off pace, and he's going to have to hope for a caution and to not go a lap down. And we've got another one, Chad. That's Papa Bear Campbell spinning off track to the left, hitting the inside wall, but way off track, Chad. That's not going to pull a caution.
Yeah, single car spin, Kurt. It definitely is not going to bring out the caution. Unfortunate for Mike Campbell, as he smacked that inside wall pretty good. And yeah, he's going to have a ton of damage, and I think he might have already used that fast repair too, Kurt. So not the night that Papa Bear Campbell was looking forward to, his first race of this new series for him in new season.
No, and unless the caution comes out and he has that fast repair, he is going to probably go a lap down for sure. But Chris Murphy's in the same boat. These teammates out front, though, the four, they're kind of looking like the three teammates from last season, Shad. They're kind of out here out front trying to lead this field. And they're doing a pretty good job of pushing each other. You see the 22 getting bumped by the 38, shoots him back up to the 74. And they're trying to pull away now. They've got a pretty maybe 3 car gap between the 12 and the 81. And we've got cars pulling off, Shad. Looks like John Osborne and the elite team is pulling off with the 3 of Nick Gowan and the 24 of Bailey. As they come down pit road, they will be able to make it to the end. I don't know if they'll have enough fuel if we wind up with more than one green-white checkered, Chad.
Yeah, it's going to put it tight for a green-white checkered. I think they would be able to do 1. If it goes 2, that's where it's going to be tight. But talking about the 7 car of our champion, Chris Murphy, yeah, he lost the main pack, but he was able to pick up 3 cars that he's riding around with right now. So I don't think he would go a lap down, but unfortunately, I don't know if they'll be able to catch up the group. And then obviously he was not able to pit with his other teammates as he was too far back. And if he would have pitted, he would have had no help. So he's kind of got to ride with the group that he's with right now as others are starting to come down pit road. I heard the 15 was one of them. And it looks like they're wrecking
the 15
on
gets
pit
turned
road.
Wow.
More wrecks are happening on pit road. 44 also, the 9 down
I
there.
think those were 3 teammates.
Yeah, the 9 just collected both of his teammates right there.
I'm pretty sure Austin is the son of one of them here, or the other one is the son. I don't know. Or they're brothers or something. But, yeah, 3 teammates wrecking each other on pit road. Not a good start for the season for 3 teammates to be wrecking each other. But out front, Chad, is Wesley Jeanette leading his 3 teammates right now. And they've got... Oh, 42, yeah. So, 5.
There's 5 fueled up motorsport guys all
Sound
together
like Top
right
Gun
now
here.
leading the pack. Yeah.
Repeat 5. I've engaged with 5. 42 of Johnny Despacquale, who was being rooted on there, sitting there right there in the top 5.
Yeah.
Bill Hill is also attached to this group.
Yeah, able to finally get up to his other 4 teammates. And, yeah, they're all linked up right now as they're trying to work their way through traffic right now, going around the 24 car.
Hunter Bailey pit with that team, Shad, so that's kind of surprising that they're coming up on them that fast. I don't know where the other group is. I'm trying to pull them up now and look back from them. So looking back from Dohar, you see 1 car way back there, but that's not the leaders. Okay, so there's the lead car pack coming through right now. So they're only about half of a turn out in front of the leaders, but they have pit. So they're good to go to the end. They've got 3 teammates there and Nick Gowan, who's probably just as good as a teammate because he's just as fast and should be able to help this 3-pack try to get back around him, take the lead and win. Wesley Jeanette and his teammates of the 4 of the drivers there in line decide to come down pit road as we've got now 19 to go, Shab. And other guys have made pit stops. Bill Sleep, Jessica Childs, Chris Murphy, and Andrew Bolander down pit road. And I just got word through the chat that Big Papa Bear had 5 minutes of repairs after that crash.
Yeah, I knew Papa Bear had probably used up that fast repair already, so anything else that was going to happen to him was probably going to end his night. And just unfortunate, didn't look like anything of his doing. But unfortunately gets turned into that inside wall, and then with no caution, there's just no way to fix that without going a ton of laps down.
Oh, big wreck, Chad.
Oh my God, what is going on coming off of turn 2, coming off the apron?
And that is Chris Murphy being involved with the 15, I believe. And I'm not sure what happened there, but Chris Murphy just got slammed by the 15 right and spun into the leaders. I don't know if the leaders actually made contact, but it was definitely a group of guys there that made it. I don't know who that was. I think it was the second group, which was the group led by Osborne and Dohar. So I think that was, well, there's Ruiz.
Oh, Kurt, it happens
Gowan.
with watching it, Kurt, it happens with the 19 coming off of that apron out of pit road. Goes up and touches the yellow line, gets loose, and then collects the 7 of Chris Murphy. And then they, of course, go right in front of the leaders. So Unfortunate for Chris Murphy because he went a lap down doing it, and he's not going to get the lucky dog being involved. So, yeah, that's going to trap a bunch of vehicles a lap down.
So we're watching now as Jessica clips to yellow, comes back down in front of the 7, spins across and hits the 7 right into the field. Johnny Pasquale getting just smacked on the door, spun across the field and collected a few more cars there. But we'll take it back here and look as the cockpit view from Johnny's angle and see what he saw as he was coming around that corner. And that apron is tricky, Shad. I mean, it's hard to keep it down there and try to get full speed going. So this is Johnny Pasquale's cockpit view. You see the 7 and the 19 make contact. You see the 7 come right back up and hit the 12. And Johnny having nowhere to go, no reaction time at all with the 7 coming up into the track. But that's going to take two drivers out, Shad. I don't know if they've used fast repairs or not. I don't think they have. But the 12 of John Tiller was right there in that front pack. So they barely missed the leaders.
I think Chris Murphy will be all right. I do not think he used a fast repair. Unfortunately, he's still going to be a lap down. He's going to need some more help to find himself back on the lead lap. The 19, I believe, did use her fast repair, but she kind of got the least amount of that wreck, so she might be all right to just fix what she has and keep trucking on, but she's also going to be trapped a lap down as well.
Yeah, it's just an unfortunate accident there. That apron is very tough to stay full speed or get through the gears and get up to full speed. You touch that yellow line at all, and it's like being on ice. It'll swing you all over the place. And she got down into the grass, and it caught and just hooked her right into the 7 of Chris Murphy and shot him right into the leaders as they were coming by. And it collected the 12 of John Tiller, the 42 of Johnny Pasquale, and then a couple other drivers were involved as well. So a lot of different drivers going to be affected by that one. I want to say some of them made it through there without crashing, so luckily they didn't get too much damage. But like you said, Chris Murphy did have his fast repair left, so he should be able to get it fixed, but he's going to need another caution to come out to get that. Right now it looks like the Lucky Dog Award, Shad, was going to go to...
I believe it's going to... The Alexandria Customs Lucky Dog cart's going to go to that 24, Hunter Bailey, as he was just getting down, getting a lap down, so he should be the one receiving that award.
Well, it's not showing him a lap down right now. It's showing the first car 1 lap down as Connor Elliott, but we are 1 to green, so I think the 24 already made his way around. So yeah, Lucky Dog goes to the 24, Hunter Bailey. But yeah, that's going to put Tyler Dohar on the front row as the leader with John Osborne next to him. It looks like Tyler Dohar is electing to take the outside row, Shad, and we see this happen on super speedways all the time. I watched a documentary today called Race for the Championship where Chase Elliott and his teammates were talking about the switch, which is Kyle Larson started on the outside row, allowing Chase Elliott to start on the bottom row, which gave the outside row the jump and was able to slide down right in front of his teammate before they got going on a restart. So I have a feeling that's probably going to happen again, but they got Jose Ruiz right there. They've got Nick Gowan as well. So they've got to time it right and hope that Nick Gowan does not get a push as well from the 17 of Rodney Ayers behind him, because if those two get locked together, they could go right by Tyler Dohar as he tucks down in front of his teammate.
Yeah, I think Dohar elected to take that outside because of his 2 teammates on the bottom. So if he's going to get the jump, and I assume he's just going to turn left and get in front of his 2 teammates, and they're all going to link up. But we're going to find out, Kurt, as they're about to enter that Geico restart zone.
Geico restart zone entered. Green flag waving as we've got 15 laps to go for Velocity Motorsports race number 1 in season 2. We are back underway here with 15 laps to go, Shad. This is when the intensity is, shot to the roof, and we'll see you guys making moves that they normally wouldn't make early in the race, but now it's down to the nitty-gritty with 14 laps to go, sorry. And we'll see them making a lot of passes and moves, and we could see some more cautions coming. Chris Murphy's got to cross his fingers and hope that a caution does come out.
Yeah, well, I'm starting to see those fueled up motorsport guys working to the outside already. 4 of them are up there. They're trying to make this a 2-wide fight. Johnny Despeguali, though, stayed on the bottom. I think he's going to be the front man of that group, possibly if they don't get it linked up faster. But 1, 2, 3, Kurt is going to be the filter time boys, followed by that 3 of Nick Gowan. As we come down, Kurt, to 13 laps to go in this opening race of Season 2 of this Velocity Next Gen Series.
And it's actually going to be the 63 of Bill Sleep and his Ford in that neon green and red car that's actually going to be lined up behind those 3 teammates. He's going to be the other car behind the 23 leading that bottom line. It looks like a couple guys are shuffling up to the top line now. The fueled up motor guys are lined up on the outside behind Nick Gowan now. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lined up on the outside, Chad.
Yeah, Nick Gowan saw his opportunity, figured he can't win this race just following those filter time boys. So he elected to go to the outside in front of those fueled up Motorsport boys, and he's going to try to be the one leading them around to get up front as we're now down to 12 laps to go. Looking like this is going to be a showdown of 2 wide. I don't think we're going to see single file from here on out.
No, I don't anticipate single wide racing at all. It's going to be 2 wide racing. Going to be a lot of take and not a lot of give, with only a handful of laps left. We're coming around 11 to go now as they enter turn 3 and 4, with Tyler Dohar leading the bottom line with 2 teammates lined up behind him, and then you've got the outside line with the 3 of Nick Gowan, and then 5 teammates lined up behind him of Fuel Up Motorsports, with the 38, the 74, the 12, the 42, the 22, and is that another Fueled Up Motorsports in the 44? Not sure who that is. I think that's Brandon Watkins. I don't think he's part of the Fueled Up Motorsports. Does not have the F on the hood. So, yeah, 5 teammates lined up behind the 3 shed is a big deal for the 3.
Yeah, unfortunately for Nick Gowan, he has no teammates. So I believe those fueled up guys are going to use him until they don't need him anymore, and then they're going to shuffle him out of line. So right now, if I'm Nick Gowan, I'm trying to stay even with that inside line. Don't let these fueled up boys push me way out front, and then they're all going to use me up. Stay right next to Tyler Dohar, because look at the run they're getting on that outside. If that would have been the checkered flag right there, Gowan would have got it. So if he stays right where he's at, fueled up guys, their only option is to make this 3 wide, which I'm sure they would. But
Caution
now, and it's the second.
And it's the
pack
26. 26 of Ryan Horvath is going to be involved in this one with a couple other drivers as well. It looks like it's going to be Ryan Horvath. It's going to be some lap down cars too, I think.
Tyler Tayon just dumped the 26.
And I don't know if that was on purpose or not, because he did come into the chat saying that he had somebody to talk to after this race. Says, so pissed, got someone to call out. So I don't know if he made contact with the 26 earlier, if the 26 made contact with him. But that might have been a retaliation, which gonna have to take a look at that one. I don't know. I don't know what happened with the 26. We'll back it up here and take a look at the 26 as he was coming into that turn, because even the 7 went around him like he was off pace.
Yeah, I think Tyler got loose trying to
when he tried to make
swerve.
that move.
Yeah, when he tried to quickly swerve around the 26, it looks like the back end kind of starts to go out. And
why don't we go in the cockpit then and see what his hands look like? I mean, you can see the 26 is definitely off pace because the 7 goes out and around him. And I don't know if the 1 was expecting it, because it doesn't look like it. And then he shifts to the right and it swerves back around. swerves right into the right corner of that 26, spinning him around. Definitely going to be an incident there. We'll take a talk to them afterwards to see what that was about. But, Shad, we've got 8 laps to go, and a lot of guys coming down pit road. Kind of confused on what that's about. They should have enough fuel. Tires don't matter here usually, so I don't know if guys are coming down throwing tires on or maybe topping off just in case we got green-white checkers or something like that. But we've got 8 laps to go. We'll probably go back green with 6 to go. I wouldn't think they would be out of fuel or close on fuel at all with the amount of cautions they've had in the second stage. But Dohar's going to be out front with Nick Gowan in second.
Yeah, in the 44, Brandon Watkins is going to be that Alexandria Customs lucky dog recipient this time by, getting himself back on the lead lap, giving himself a chance to at least get a solid finish, if not get a win. So I'm sure he's happy to get that and receive that.
You said that was a 26?
44.
Oh, 44, sorry. Wrong driver. It actually looks like the 44 is on pit road right now, so hopefully he can get out and get going here.
He should be able to.
We're not even at one green yet. Shad, we've got 8 laps to go, coming to 7 to go. We'll go back green with 6 to go. Do you think the cautions are over?
Well, if you're Chris Murphy right now, you're second in line to receive the lucky dog behind the 15 of Connor Elliott. So if you're him, you're wanting 2 more cautions, if not to be in front of the, leading the 1 down cars, which right now there is 4 of them fighting over that lucky dog. So I don't know. I honestly don't think we're done with cautions. We got a handful of laps to go. The intensity's definitely picking up. We've seen it in the pushing so far, and I don't think this front group's going to play so nice together. But Tyler Doharker in that 77's got 2 teammates lined up behind him, so we know where his loyalty is going to be. But then we have a ton of fueled up motorsports all on the bottom line, with Nick Gowan leading that bottom line. So he's got to hope for they don't split him and make this 3 wide, but us up here in the booth, we want to see it. We want to see a spectacular finish, but hopefully they can all keep it straight.
Yeah, Nick's got 5 fueled up motorsports teammates behind him. Could be a good thing that they may push him past the elite guys because those guys don't like each other. But if I was Nick, I don't know which line I would try to lead. I don't know if I would try to get out in front of Tyler Doher and his teammates, or if I want to stay in the bottom behind the 5 teammates, try to push around the bottom to beat those guys on the top line. But that top line seems to be the better line once they get going here, and I believe Tyler's going to be the leader, so he's going to have the jump on the bottom line. But I agree, Shad. I don't think we're done having cautions because I have a feeling of the mixture of these 2 teams up here is going to be some fireworks. But pace car is going to duck on down as that Ford Mustang drops down. Tyler Dohar going to go into the restart zone with Nick Gowan to the inside and going to get the jump in the restart zone. And we'll go back green racing now with 6 laps to go.
And Nick Gowan tried to jump up and fill the gap behind Dohar, but John Osborne wanted nothing with it. They went below him
Split it.
and did not let him fill that void. But that means the Filter Time boys are all in front of that Fueled Up Motorsports team. Fueled Up Motorsports team is going to have to make something happen, whether it is to go to the outside, as Dohar goes to the outside to block that run of Nick Gowan. Worked out great. He got a shot, but right now his teammates are still side by side. We got a wreck, Kurt, and it involves the 22 and the 53. Yeah, that looked like a block
9, 15, 24. Whew. I saw the 88 sling up to the outside line, almost losing it. Got loose, but stayed in it. And then about a half of the track later, we got this big wreck with the 36, 53, 22, 9 all being involved. We'll go back and take a look at this replay, brought to you by those sponsors we have tonight: Admin Box, Alexander Customs, Canada Trophy, or TrophyCanada.com, and Swag Design. So give me just a second here. We'll pull that caution back up and we'll take a look to see what happened here in this field. I'm seeing a lot of cars off track, so I'm trying to find the yellow because it's way back behind the cars being off track. So we'll go back and take a look.
It starts with the 53 trying to block the 22.
All right, we'll go to the 53 and we'll take a look. Yeah, it pinches him right in the wall. And Tyler Baylander getting caught up in this one, had nowhere to go.
And if I'm not mistaken, this might give that lucky dog Kurt to the 7. Because the 15 was involved. Oh no, it gave it to the 45 actually is who received it. Maybe Murphy actually did make contact.
I didn't see him make contact.
It was tight, but it could have been some netco, which
I mean, I'm looking at Murphy right now. Let's take a look. He might have made contact with Papa Bear as Papa Bear slid down the track. Yeah, he did. He brushed him. I mean, it was the slightest tap on the right rear, but yeah, that triggers.
yeah. And then the 15, he gets involved, so he doesn't get it. So yeah, it goes to the 45.
So 45 of Isaac Brock is
who's
going to
actually
be a
2
lucky
laps
dog.
down. He now is going to be 1 lap down. So none of the guys that were 1 lap down avoided contact. So none of them get the.
They were all involved in that. Every single one of them was involved.
But Kurt, I think they're going to have another chance at it because I do not believe we are done with cautions, even with only a couple laps to go.
Yeah, we've got 4 laps to go now. They're coming to 3 to go, which means I think we're in the green-white checker, are we not?
I believe we are.
Or is it not triggered because we're not in overtime yet?
It's going to be
It
a
still will
green-white
be
checker.
yeah, it'll still be a green-white checker.
They're going to come with. They're going to take the green flag with 2 to go. So, but the benefit of this, at least for the filter time guys on the bottom, is it did split up the fueled up guys. There's only 3 of them now up front. So, it's going to be a little bit harder for them to make a really aggressive move to get up there. The problem is for the filter time guys is that 3 car of Nick Gowan. He's shown to be able to make the moves and hang on to this group. So, we'll see what kind of blocks that Dohar puts on. As I think Nick Gowan is not going to be letting up anymore. The brake pedals are non-existent now.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Sheb, but it looks like Austin Walton got the wave around, so I'm not sure what happened there, but he went past the leaders there with a full head of steam, so I don't know if he just got a wave around or if he was actually the lucky dog, because it's kind of weird. But it's not showing him on the lead lap either, so it shows him 1 lap down, but he just went flying past the leaders. Well, Shad, we've got now 3 laps, now 2 laps when they cross this line.
I don't think we're done seeing that yellow flag, but Dohar's going to take them off into that Geico restart zone, Kurt, as we're back green. 2 to go. Who's got the moves to get themselves and find that first checker flag of the season? As Nick Gowan gets a great start, Kurt. He's side by side with that 77 of Dohar. It's going to bring the outside line to him. They're going to give him a shove coming out of turn 2, but right now Dohar hanging on to that lead.
Yeah, Dohar gets a shot from the 81, shoots him out there towards the front, away from the field. Now the field's going to close in the gap. Will the 81 lighten up and push the 71? Nope, 77 going to dive up in front of the 3 now. Throwing a block, getting a bump again from the 3, shoots back down to the bottom in front of his teammates. 3 is going to have a little bit of a gap between him and the 63. That's going to allow the bottom to come back around, Chad, and we'll go at it one more time as we come to 1 to go now. White flag in the air as we come across the start stripe.
Yeah, side by side right now for the lead. That's 63 of Bill Sleep. Oh, turns the 3 in front of the field, Kurt. This is going to end it. No caution yet. They stay green, Kurt, but that's going to
Staying green,
end
we've got the
this
leaders
race.
going. Will John Osborne turn his teammate or go around his teammate for the first win?
Osborne staying in that draft right now, Kurt, of that 77. It looks like the 74 of Wesley Jeanette's going to be in third, but right now, who's going to win this race, Kurt, between two teammates? Does John Osborne make the move as they come out of turn 4? He's going to have to do something quick.
Osborne trying to go to the outside. Dohar comes up. 81 goes low. Coming to the line. It's going to be Tyler Dohar winning the first race of the season. 2 seasons in a row, actually. Tyler Dohar pulls off the win. But Shad, that huge wreck back there. We'll take a look back and see what happened, what started this whole thing. But massive wreck there as they took the white flag. No caution called. Whew, that was a close one there. And I cannot figure out who started it, so I'm just going to go back to this. Fireworks going off at Daytona International Speedway as we have tonight's winner as Tyler Dohar wins race number 1 at Daytona International Speedway for Velocity Motorsports Season 2, race number 1, the 77 Elite Performance Industries esports team winning 2 seasons in a row, winning the race, and Tyler Dohar receiving both of those wins. So big wins here, Shad, as Dohar comes back up to the start-finish line. We'll get that burnout from Tyler Dohar as we'll go into victory lane and talk to the drivers. We'll be right back after this burnout from Tyler Dohar. All right, we're back here for KS Gaming's Burnout Lane. Going to be talking to the top three tonight, and that's going to be Tyler Johar in the 77, John Osborne in the 81, and Wesley Jeanette in the 74, rounding out your top three. Rest of the top 10 is going to be Bill Hills, Tyler Belanger, Andrew Bolander, Jose Ruiz, Ryan Horvath, Nathan Line, and Brandon Watkins rounding out the top 10. Right now, Shad, we're going to pull up the leader or the winner, and that is Tyler Johar. Tyler, 2 seasons in a row, you win the opening race at Daytona. You do it with at least one teammate behind you this time. Last time you did it with 2 as you guys broke away from the field by over 30 seconds. Tonight you make it away from a massive crash behind you guys with the 3 being involved on the outside. Somehow you and the 81 squeak out of there with no issues and race each other to the finish line. Came down to you 2 teammates. Did you think John would try to pull something on you? I seen him try to go to the outside. He made the block to the outside. He went low, and it came down to about a car length between the 2 of you.
Well, once that accident happened at the end, and I saw that he didn't have anybody behind me, I knew it was going to be hard for him to try to generate a run, because in these cars, it's just so tough to try to generate runs because everything comes from what's behind you. So it's very tough if you lose any help out back and you don't have any. You're probably not going to be able to generate a run. So at that point, all I just needed to do was just kind of mirror drive. So that way, if he did get a run, it would just kind of air push me and kind of create a bubble effect. So we could stay in front of him and kind of stay in command and control there. But really, it just came down to executing those last few restarts. It had to come down to, really strategizing where we all were up there, trying to time the blocks to the top,
Anybody else just lose audio?
Yeah, I'm not hearing Dohar anymore. It cut out.
Yeah, he disappeared.
Oh, okay. Not sure what happened with Tyler Johar, your winner tonight, but we'll go ahead and I guess wait for him to come back. But Shad, we'll go ahead and talk to second place, and that's John Osborne in the 81. John, you come into Daytona, you finish second in the points at Phoenix last season to finish behind your teammate there of Chris Murphy. You come into tonight, you missed the opening race last season with these teammates who took it away from everybody. This time you guys had a pretty good strategy. It was a lot closer racing this time, a lot more 2x2 all the way to the finish, or at least all the way to turn 2. And you and Dohar get out of that big crash. You guys make it into turn 3. Looked like you went high, then you went low as Dohar came with the block and almost looked like he almost hit the wall. But did you have any thought there into bumping or turning or going for the win or anything there to go all out?
Yeah, Tyler said it best. When that wreck happened, and he asked me, he's like, "Hey, who do we have behind us?" I was like, "Nobody. It's just me and you." I knew I wasn't gonna have anything. The bubble, the air bubble in these cars is a real thing. And Tyler was right. If I would have had somebody behind me, then it would have been easy for me to suck up to him. I know I darted off to the high side and back to the low side. That was more for video value for you guys, because I couldn't get there, and I'm not gonna wreck him like that coming there. If I try to do that, I probably wreck both of us, and then Wesley gets the win. So I'm happy with second. I have second on lock. I finished second a lot, and I feel like Mark Martin. But overall it was a really good day for me and Tyler. Jose was right there until that massive pile up there at the end, and then Murph, he got punted midpoint of the race, so it was bad day for him, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I just stayed true to the strategy, and especially on all the late restarts, I told Tyler I was just gonna push the mess out of him, and that's what he wanted. I know I got him a little squirrely there. I backed off a little bit, but I didn't want to back off too much, because I knew on the high side, especially in that other restart, the last restart, it was going to be right there. So,
well, Shad, I know that's going to tickle you a little bit talking about Mark Martin, but any questions there for the 81?
Well, John, I mean, obviously, a great way to start the start the season. Obviously, with you last season missing this race, but still finding yourself to end up second in the championship. Now you get second in points. You know, well, we'll have to see where the stages break down, but right now you finished second tonight. Gotta obviously give you great confidence for the rest of the season as what you were able to do last season. So now we're going to change gears and go to a place like Texas, two different ends of the track, really flat through 1 and 2. How you feeling about taking that 81 hot rod to the Lone Star State?
I feel really good about it. I like Texas. It sets up good for my style of driving. Yeah, I really like it in this car. Um, and I really look forward to it. Texas is a very rough track. Definitely eats the tires up a good bit, and you definitely want to be low in 3 and 4, and you got to arc it in 1 and 2 really, really good, so you can have a good straight drive off because car will want to break free on the exit of 2 there. But yeah, I feel really good going to Texas, and I'm also excited that we got got a couple of road courses on the schedule. That's going to be a lot of fun. I wouldn't say I'm the greatest at the road courses, but I'm getting there. But yeah, this is great momentum, and it feels really good to start off this season like we ended last season. And I just want to move one position further. And I told Tyler before we got in here, I was like, man, I'm definitely going to get one this season. I got to get one. And he agreed. He's like, oh, I think it's coming. So I love my team, and I like where we're at to start.
Well, John, you bring it home second tonight. Great way to start the season. You had a great season last season, even though you missed the start of the season. You brought it home second in the points, so I'm sure you're going to want to try to take that extra step and go into the championship. But first, you got to get that win, I think, to get that monkey off your back. But any shout outs for you?
Absolutely. I want to thank my team, thank Tyler for bringing me on in the second race of last season. I'm having a ton of fun with Filter Time. He's been great. I race with Murph and Jose a lot. Actually, I race with all three of these guys in multiple leagues. It's a lot of fun. So definitely give a shout out to them. Give a shout out to you guys in the booth. Appreciate you. I know, Kurt, you messaged me the other day. He's like, hey, are you racing? You haven't paid yet, buddy. You got to get that in there. So thank you for reminding me. I appreciate that. Shad's always great up in the booth. Thank my mom and dad who are always watching. They're completely faithful. And last but not least, thank my sponsor, Woody's. They've been on my car for almost a year. They're happy to be on there, and I love them on there. And they make a great product with wood sunglasses, all polarized lenses. Good product. You guys go check them out, woodies.com. And then at the end of the day, I want to thank both the Tylers for putting this league together with Velocity, and looking forward to seeing where we go.
Well, that is your second place finisher tonight, John Osborne in that 81. Great start to the season, and we'll see how the season goes after the first couple races we get through here. But Wesley, I'm going to give you just a second here, and I'm going to wait and see if Tyler Dohar's back. I see him back in here and muted. Don't want to take away from the winner, but Tyler, you back here? Can we hear you?
I'm good, guys. My power went out, and I couldn't have happened a second later. So I guess if the power's going to go out, it might as well be after the race is over.
John, you missed out by 2 minutes on Tyler Dohar leaving the race for you to get that win. But Tyler, go ahead and tell us about your race tonight. It was kind of eventful. There was a few big crashes there. You avoided them. Like we said before we lost you there, you shot out you and John like a cannon out of the big mess that happened behind you involving two of your teammates there. But how did you come away with this win? And like I said, this is the second year in a row, or second season in a row, you have won Daytona as the opening race both seasons.
I mean, really, it came down to the execution that we had on the prior restarts. Making the calculations of where Jose and John were going to line up with me, and just being strategic with what lane I chose as the leader, and then trying to make sure that we had the appropriate run coming out of 2 to be able to block the high side, because the high side was kind of king. But if you could block that initial onset run that they would get coming off of 2 on the restart lap, it made it a pretty powerful maneuver. So really, it just came down to near flawless execution from all of us, just in communication and just being able to put our strategies all together under one book. I mean, we communicated the entire time. We knew that we wanted to pit as soon as the pit window opened every single time, because of how Daytona is. You're not going to go lap down as long as you execute on pit road without speeding. So that's what we really wanted to try to do and execute, and we just did it.
Shad,
Hello?
any questions for the 77?
Yeah, obviously, Dohar, he won back-to-back season openers here in Velocity last season. Didn't end the way you wanted to, but you led the season for wins. Starting off the season already with another win. And believe me, I am more excited. I've just been fighting a head cold, so I'm a bit nasally, but I am excited for you, Dohar. But, now we change gears. We go to a mile and a half. It's not a cookie cutter mile and a half. It's a lot like Kentucky, and you were very strong at Kentucky, but your teammate edged you out. And now we're going to go to Texas and then a road course. So how are you, how much are you looking forward to Texas, and what are you going to be bringing to the table?
Texas is a pretty strong racetrack. I mean, you and I, we just raced there in the Truck Series not too long ago and had a great battle. So I feel comfortable about myself being there on the racetrack. In the next gens, could be a little bit spotty. I think the cars are going to be a little bit looser, but I want to get through Texas because the road course, I know, is just going to be a big struggle bus for us. Not going to even, throw it off as anything less. So I need to make sure we just maximize points everywhere else that we can, aside from the 2 road course races we've got this season. We've got a schedule that kind of favors my strengths, I feel like, with Texas, and then going to Dover after the road course, then Nashville and Rockingham. So I couldn't ask for a better way to kind of kick off the schedule. So I'm really excited. Glad we got the win early in the season here, but we definitely want to have more on the table.
Well, Dohar, congratulations on the win. Good way to start the season. Obviously, you did it last season as well. Any shout outs? I know you usually got a long list.
Of course, I mean, I got to give a shout out to Elite Performance Industries, Tyler Payne and Michael Conti and those guys for believing me and always keeping me as a house driver since I've been on the sim. It's been a real pleasure and an honor, and I've learned so much by doing it. I'm so thankful to them and to Filter Time and Blake Cook for his support for me for years, going back to the Pro League. My teammates, I mean, I know Murphy ran into issues, and Jose was mere inches away from getting away through that wreck unscathed. But John was an excellent pusher there at the end, did exactly what we needed to do to execute. And then I got to give a shout out to my family and my best friend Gabby. She was watching and cheering me on, and it's been a rough couple of days for me on the personal side, and she's been a nice rock to have for me to lean on. And I got to credit that to her, because you can ask John Osborne. I was not in the mental capacity to be racing yesterday, so
No, he was not.
She brought me back from the theoretical dead. So we're good to go, and I'm just excited for the season. Glad we could kick it off with a win.
Well, congratulations again. We'll see where this season goes for you. You missed out on the championship racing your other 3 teammates at Phoenix last season, but we'll see what this season comes out. You got 5 wins last season. You already got a win to do it again. We'll see how many you can knock off this time. We've got a longer season this time, 17 races mixed in here. So it's going to be a great season. So congratulations again.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll bring up 3rd place, and that's going to be the 74 of Wesley Jeanette. Wesley, you got a win last season on the road course, and then we didn't see you a whole lot other than closer to or into the playoffs, where you made some really good runs there. Did not get a win in the playoffs, but really good start this season. You finished 3rd here. We saw you up front running with your teammates there. You guys lined up 5 deep on the outside row at one point, then lined up 5 deep on the inside row behind the Filter Time guys. Once they got to the bottom, you were able to make it out of that big giant crash there coming through turns 1 and 2 where the 3 got turned and just obliterated the rest of the field. Take us through that last lap on how you were able to make it through there. And once you shot out of there, were you hoping that the 1st and 2nd place guys would go at it and maybe you'd come around them?
Yeah, I mean that was, I knew that was the only chance I had, but as far as that wreck goes, I kind of kind of saw that coming a little before there. I was kind of bracing for that, and luckily enough, we were able to squirt through that. Because I thought about going to the top lane a little earlier, but I just had my spidey senses were going off. Something told me not to go up there, and sure enough, it was a good thing I didn't. But yeah, it's pretty weird to look up and see finish 3.2 seconds back and still in third. Usually that means you're like 30th. So I'll take it.
Well, Wesley, you had your teammates. There was 5 of you that we could tell all lined up at one point. You guys were strong. You were giving the filter time boys, their 4 cars, a run for their money. And if the crash wouldn't have happened and you guys were able to link back up, you might have been able to do something with those 5 cars. What was your mindset when that first caution came out there at the end and took 2 of your teammates away? What were you guys' mindset at that point?
Yeah, that set us back quite a bit there. But before that happened, I think it was a caution before that. We had all pitted together. We had taken the lead, and then we'd all pitted together. That caution was the one that I really felt like kind of screwed us up a little bit. If that caution hadn't come out and everything cycled back around, I think we would have been in pretty good shape. But from there, we could never really get all of our cars together like we did earlier in the race. But yeah, when we were together, I feel like if we wanted to be on the outside, we could have controlled the race a little bit better from up there. But yeah, those filter time guys, they're really hard to beat. And we had something for them tonight, but it didn't quite go our way. But congratulations to them, and we'll go at it again next week.
Well, speaking of
Wesley,
next week,
you were able to get that. Oh, go ahead, Shep.
I was going to say, speaking of next week, we go to Texas. And then we got the first road course of the season. Unlike last season, this season we have 2 of them, one being in the playoffs. We know how you won last season. How you looking at going to Road America? Kind of looking past Texas. But how are you at Road America?
I've been strong there in the past. I've won there in other leagues. My teammate Jason's pretty strong there too, so we should be able to put some good runs together there. Hopefully, if we can stay out of trouble. But that's definitely one of the tracks that I look forward to running. So.
Well, Wesley, last season we only saw you a handful of times, but you're starting off the season the right way this time. Are we going to see you in a full season capacity this time?
Yes. Last season, we started. We kind of started the league abruptly, and I'd planned on making all the starts, but then I had a work schedule change and didn't allow me. It literally happened right after the road course. So from there, I had to miss. I think it was 5 or 6 weeks or whatever, and then it kind of opened back up so I could run some. So, but this season definitely the plan is to run them all. So that's our plan going forward.
Well, if you keep running them like you are tonight and your teammates behind you, I think you guys got a pretty good chance to go at it with some of the heavier teams in this league. But congratulations on the 3rd place finish to start the season. Any shout outs for you? I know you guys got a lot of sponsors too.
Yeah. My teammates, obviously, Dubby Energy Drink, Clark Heating and Cooling. That's my brother-in-law's company. He supports us a lot in our racing endeavors, and I know I'm missing some. I'm not the best at these interviews, but anyway, you guys for doing a great broadcast. Even the races that I wasn't able to attend last year, I got to watch them all, and you guys do a really good job with the broadcast. Just want to tell you guys that, and congratulations to John and Tyler for their finishes, and we'll go get them next week. Oh, Admin Box. I'm sorry. I knew I was forgetting one big one. Admin Box. They do a lot for us too. They've been on the car with us for a couple seasons now. So big shout out to them. And we'll get after them next week, like I said.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing what you guys can do this season. Great start to the season, and we'll see what happens at Texas next week.
10-4. Thank you.
All right, Chad. This is going to wrap it up for the initial Season 2 race number 1 at Daytona, with the winner being Tyler Dohar. Chad, we've seen a lot of different activity going on tonight, a lot of moves being made, a lot of blocks. There was a couple messages in the Discord chat already. Nick Gowan apologizing for the late block that he did took full blame of that late block that caused that big wreck going through turns 1 and 2. Bill Hill is also taking the blame on the late block that he pulled with 6 laps to go that brought out that caution to go to green, white, checkered. So guys taking responsibility for their actions is a good sign. But we've got a lot of races left, and tonight, as I said, doesn't really mean the start of the season to me. It's always the second race past Daytona, because Daytona is a flip of a coin on whether or not you even finish that race, and a lot of guys experienced that tonight, or girls finished that tonight. And we'll come back for Texas, but definitely appreciate you as always being in the booth and bringing your expertise and knowledge of the cars and different things you see on track. I'm excited to see what happens this rest of the season.
Yeah, now we go to the 10 real races of the season, as we got 10 races until that first round of the playoffs. So, these guys are going to have to quickly change gears going to Texas, and then once again quickly changing it up again as we go to the first road course of the season at Road America. Texas, Kurt, is where we're going to find out the guys that can save tires, can drive these drivers' tracks, and who's going to come out on top. Now, last season we did not race Texas, so another curveball for this season is another new track on the schedule. But I'm looking forward to it. As you know, and most people that know me, they know I love Texas. We've been to that track in person. We both rode on that track in person in Cup cars. So, of course, that was before the repave, but I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to find out who's going to be the top dog when it comes to these driver tracks, and get to find out then who's going to be the top dog for road courses to watch out for, as obviously a road course being in the playoffs is obviously going to be a big game changer for a lot of these guys who do make that final 12.
Absolutely agree. It's going to be a weird one with all kinds of different style tracks and driver tracks and road courses and cookie cutters and big open tracks. It's going to be a weird schedule to see who can come out with it and maybe have some luck on their side as well on some of these tracks. But definitely want to give a big shout out to the probably about 60 viewers that we had overall total throughout the night. A lot of people in the chat, a lot of family and friends watching the races, so definitely appreciate you guys. Make sure you tune in next Tuesday at about 7:30. This week we started a little early to get through some of the Daytona stuff, but next week we'll go live about 7:30 and roll through into Texas. And really appreciate all of you guys, like I said, and we'll come back next week.